Good morning, this is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. Millions of Americans and people around the world are holding their breath as they await the result of U.S. presidential election. The outcome of Tuesday's election battle between Vice President Kamala Harris and the Republican former President Donald Trump is sure to reverberate around the world. Opinion polls in advance of the election could hardly separate the pair, while the bookmakers, perhaps mindful of his shock White House victory in 2016, gave Trump a slender advantage, with voting happening over 4 different time zones. The first polls closed at 12 a.m. GMT on Wednesday morning, and the last will close at 6 a.m. GMT on early Wednesday. The winning candidate needs to reach a majority in the Electoral College. The numbers in the Electoral College for each state are apportioned depending on how many people they send to Congress. That means each state gets 2 senators and a figure for the House of Representatives tied to their population. There are 538 electors in total, and the magic number needed to secure the White House is 270. Back in the country, and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has urged Kenyans to move on and accept the fact that he was impeached. Speaking at a funeral service in Limuru, Gachagua, however, maintained that he was removed from office due to his nature of being a truthful man.
I want to tell our people, much as difficult things are economically, just work hard. Work hard and be honest. Some of us have gotten in a lot of trouble because of being truthful. But I want to tell you, even the Bible says, the truth shall set you free.
On matters of Mount Kenya, as he tried to state the reason as to why they did not go to the street after he was impeached, Gachagua urged his people to fight for what is right, as he did while he was still the second in command in the nation.
Our community is very unique, and many people are shocked. We expected people to go to the streets, lighting bonfires, destroying vehicles, shouting. No, that is not who we are. These people don't know us well. As when we feel offended, we feel bad, we keep quiet. Sindio, mutaendelea kunyamaza? Keep quiet. Say nothing. And if you feel so strongly you must express yourself, do it through song and dance. Sindio, nyimbo tu na kunyama.
While condoling with the family of Lusinganga, who died after a failed cosmetic surgery, he called on Kenyans to be on the lookout for clinics who don't employ professionals.
Because Kenyans are simple people and are gullible. And when you market your establishments in a nice way, because they are very trusting, more often than not, they are likely to believe you. And then you end up in a facility that is not licensed, that is not professional. And then we end up with the situation we are in today. Again, let me call upon our people to always be careful where you seek help when you need help in matters medical.
And Dr. President Kithure Kindiki has urged religious affiliated universities to take a more active role in countering cults, such as the one that was experienced at Shakahola. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, during the awarding of charters to the Islamic University of Kenya and the National Intelligence and Research University, Kindiki expressed concern over the rise of rogue religious figures with questionable doctrines.
We've had challenges in this country in the past, people purporting to be agents of religious organizations and beliefs who have brought a lot of damage, sometimes because they misrepresent the religious beliefs of that community. And this has happened both in the Islamic side, also in the Christian side. We've had people propagating violence and other dangerous behavior in society, assumedly pretending to be religious-based ideology.
That's the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
102.5 SpiceFM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
Now, I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
That is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's betting, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change a nation.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
If you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land, 1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. That's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that a hustler is a poor person or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Tell us, who is a hustler?
Who's a hustler? Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even sleep inside.
Up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk there at midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
When you're impeached, you're impeached. When you're sentenced, you're sentenced.
Madam Chief Justice.
Until the sentence is set aside. Ukibeba vitu kwa roho utakufa. If you carry things in your heart, you will die.
The reason for which you went to school and then gathered experience, that reason must be paid for.
All right.
Oh, okay.
This level.
Shape up or ship out.
Levels don't change.
No. Since I'm not shipping out. You know my business partner here.
Shipping out.
Are we talking about the ship in the bathtub? Or
the ship man.
One of Talamu used to tell us a story of they were in school and they'd been told to write composition about a ship. His classmate raised a hand. Teacher, are you talking about a ship or a ship goat?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Patrick Lodge, Otieno Lumumba. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
CT Muga, doing other Indians in the group. He wrote the word valve and told them, read it.
So how did he say it? I really want to know.
The valve.
Good morning. Welcome to a rainy Wednesday morning. Let's take a look at what's happening on these Nairobi streets as we get into the day. Around the country, I know the rains are coming down, so let's look at what's happening in the capital. On Jogo Road, heading out towards Landis, a little bit of traffic has started to build up. Uhuru Highway is free and clear, at least for now. We're going to ask you to go carefully because the roads are indeed slippery. On Mombasa Road, you will see that you will have to use the ICD route as you get towards General Motors because of the closure due to that reconstruction of the road. A little bit of traffic outbound on Outer Ring. Eastern Bypass is looking good for now. Coming out of Western's, not too bad. It looks good also on the Southern Bypass and out towards Langata Road. Let's keep an eye on things and see how we progress through Wednesday. SpiceFM KE on X hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room. This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It is 12 minutes after 6. Good morning. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. City?
Yes.
Don't you think 12 is...
Yep. You're the number.
Sindio?
Yeah, 12.
Yeah. Bas. Nantara ngapi? 6.
6.
Yes. Oh. Watu walinipigia wote jana. Oh my God. I'm just seeing missed calls.
Even I called you yesterday.
No, you didn't come.
I did.
What's your name? Michael?
What do you want it to be?
Ndu called. She even called me.
She called you?
Yes. I told me she had called you.
Okay.
She had called you.
She called my name.
Oh, wow.
I will not argue with that. That's fine. Mambo ikoje lakini?
Mambo ni sawa sawa brother.
Iko sawa?
Yes.
Yesu akiwa enzini. Mambo sawa sawa. Very good. Pia mimi niko sawa sawa. Na wewe Ndu?
I'm fine, thank you.
Unasikiaje? Hebu fanya hivi. Huku na huku na huku na huku.
Things are still intact, at least for now.
Upendo wa Yesu anizunguka. What do they say? Upendo wa Yesu.
I don't know.
Upendo wa Yesu na weka hiyo wimbo alafu tusikia. Meanwhile, as the Ndu is doing like that, what are you American mambo namna gani? Have you voted? Kumera has happened in America. Kumera has happened. Today we are going to have some interesting conversations. Let me tell you what we'll discuss at 7 a.m. Creating and growing your wealth. Now, there's strategies for that. You know, there's one thing about creating wealth. The other thing is actually maintaining it and then growing it. Pesa inaingia, pesa napata mfuko, kuna shimo, pesa naenda. Now, the thing is, utaweza tafuta mfuko ambayo haina shimo. And then expand the size of the what? Of the pocket.
Wallet.
Yeah. The group CEO of HF Group will be joining us at 7 a.m. Robert Kibara. He's been here before, and we'll be looking at this. But we want to start a series on this, on just from his experiences in the banking and financial world to discussing and having conversations with many people. How's it going, right? How is it going? Haya. At 9 o'clock, we shall talk about the education crisis in Kenya. There is a crisis in Kenya. What are the solutions to it? And you're saying no crisis. Remember last week when Nerima Wako was here, and one of the comments of what they had found out on the ground was the issue of paying bribes to either secure a slot in a school and all, and then you even gave stories of what you've heard of people who have to find a way of enticing a teacher and inducing a teacher so that the teacher can notice your child in class. Well, that elicited a lot more reaction, with very many people now talking about the entire education sector. So there's a campaign called the ZKE campaign, and so part of the ZKE campaign is just taking the feedback from the people. What are the issues? And education has emerged as a big issue. So we'll be joined by Alan Cheboy, who is a data and digital technology expert for the ZKE campaign, to look at this education in crisis. What are people saying, and what are the solutions? At 8 o'clock, we'll be joined by two people. I cannot pronounce any of these names, so Ndu, please just do it.
There's
it's
one.
Okay, take time. Open. Let me say, one, we will be hosting the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia.
Yeah.
And we'll also be hosting the country manager for the IDLO Liberia country office. Okay? So let's start with the Chief Justice of the Republic of Nigeria.
I'm telling you, that name has me.
Her Honor.
So we'll be hosting Her Honor. Sie Nyenye Jibyo.
That name is written SIE-A-Nyene, NYENE.
That is perfect.
Sianyene.
That is perfect.
Then GYAPAY.
Yes.
It's pronounced G.
That is fine.
Everything else is silent.
I'm saying
G.
it is fine.
And then the other one is youth without a T.
Eric, this country that is having elections right now has some very interesting parts of it. There's another one. There's one place in Imendeko, Arkansas, but it's pronounced Arkansas. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Kuna ingine Imendeko vizuri Ohio. You're told it's pronounced Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah.
I love it.
The other person who will be joining us is the country manager for IDLO. It is Her Royal Highness
Chinyelemugo Okoh. Chinyelemugo Okoh. But Ugo.
Those are two names or three?
Chinyelemugo is one name.
Chinyelemugo.
Okay, so
basically it's Chinyelemugo.
That name is a statement. So what does it mean?
God has given me honor.
See, I told you it's a statement.
And Mugo is the honor.
Ugo is honor.
Ugo, not Mugo. So Chinyelemugo Okoh. And this is the sister.
It's my older sister.
Her Royal Highness will now be having it,
senior sisters coming.
The entirety. Way 8 a.m. Very good. You must be excited to interview your senior sister.
Imagine.
In front of the world.
I'm telling you.
Put her on the spot.
That's proper. The only time I get to do it.
On the spot.
The only time I get to do it. Sorry.
Finya. Kanyaga. Wacha kuje. It's 19 minutes after 6. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start
444.
The weather with SpiceFM.
It's 60 degrees, rainy, cloudy conditions in Nairobi. We'll see highs of 24 and lows of 15. 15 will also be the low in a cloudy Nakuru, going to highs of 25. Cloudy at 15 in Nyeri with highs of 23. And 24 will be the high in a partly cloudy Eldoret at 15. Mostly cloudy at 25 in Mombasa with highs of 32, while in Malindi at 26, it'll be sunny through, going to highs of 31. Kisumu at 20 is cloudy, highs of 30, and we'll see highs of 29 in a partly cloudy Kakamega at 16. It's partly cloudy at 19 in Kampala with highs of 27, while Dar es Salaam at 25 will be partly sunny with highs of 30. It's 13 and sunny in Johannesburg with highs of 29, while in Mogadishu will be mostly sunny through. Wednesday with highs of 32 and lows of 26. It's 11 degrees and sunny in Addis Ababa with highs of 22, and it's clear in Lagos at 26 with highs of 32. 24 and mostly cloudy in Kinshasa with highs of 32, and we're looking into Wednesday afternoon in Beijing. It's 11 degrees and sunny. We'll go to highs of 15 and lows of 2, while Paris is cloudy at 11. We'll see highs of 13, and it's 10 degrees and a hazy morning in London with highs of 13. We'll round things out to New York, where Tuesday night, it's clear at 18. Coming into Wednesday, highs of 22 and lows of 18.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right.
My pen is eluding me. Okay,
Paulie.
so Rakim Madaga says good morning, Spice FM. Well, good morning to you. Jimmy Reka says here. Jimmy Gakio is also tuned in. Danson Walra says good morning. This is Wairimu Danson from Nakuru. Say hi on air. Hi on air, Danson Walra. Sir George Gashori is saying good morning. Twende Kazi, looking forward to a great show. Spice team, you're a great team. Thank you so much. Blessed day. Rose Grace, we love you for the wonderful job you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning in every morning. Agola says good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning from Naivasha. It's too close to call in the land of the poorly educated. Where? Yeah.
Where?
Okay. Polls are yet to close, so still watching that. Anthony Karaja says good morning. Lots of butterflies in my stomach while watching the election results trickling in here in Dallas, Texas. Okay. Sisi Amepiga Kura. Okay, says R. Good morning to you. Esther Kabiru says good morning, Spice team. Kawa Nyambura anatupenda sana kama kawaida. Good to have you in the room this morning. Leo says good morning. Princess Ndu, good morning to you. CT, Lydiah, PSA to KK. If it's working, no need to scream. How it's working and benefiting citizenry from Mount Everest. People will... Leo, come again.
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
What is he saying?
Onganyi Malala says, good morning, great work and keep it up. Thank you so much. I can see Trump has taken an early lead. Well, it depends on the state. Let's see what happens. Esther Kabiru says, good morning. Lots and lots of butterflies. Everybody's holding their breath. You guys need to breathe. Take it easy. Easy vitu msiweke kwa roho. So fatherly. Jay Harper says good morning. Erica War is also tuned in, says good morning to everybody. Robert Mbogo is tuning from Mombasa. Priska Dragona says good morning, Team Spice. We're here for another phenomenal day indeed. Papdi says Ndu has been elected in New York. What do you mean?
There's a Ndu who's been elected in New York.
I wonder, man. I don't understand.
Nyinyi ni wengi.
Ni kama.
Wengi sana.
Gilbert Kimuge says good morning. Tuned in from... I want to know how you use it. CT would say it's Tampere. Tampere in Finland.
It's Tampere.
Tampere in Finland.
Yes.
Okay. Amos Girongo says good morning. Peter Mutahi says also good morning. Good to have a good day here ahead. Thank you very much. Dangote Kilonzo, good morning to you. Gilbert also says my dad is also watching in Eldoret in Kenya. Good morning to you.
Eldoret.
Everybody in the US is up and at 'em tonight, or rather this morning.
Yeah.
And everybody here, we thank you so much for joining us. Karibuni sana sana.
City. Proverb from Equatorial Guinea.
It's actually DRC.
Wow. Oh, DRC.
Yeah,
sorry, I don't know why I thought.
No, they're not really far from each other. But it's DRC.
Okay.
Acha kugonga.
Amegonga.
All right. I was going to mention another proverb, but since you've decided to pick on me, I'm also going to pick on you.
Is that the proverb?
No, I'm about to mention the proverb. Maize grows for those who do not have teeth. Deal with that one.
Maize grows for those who do not have teeth.
Yeah.
The
teethless.
Very good. Very good. Ndu, umepata kalamu?
Yes.
Aya, soma gazeti.
What?
You thought you were going to say, okay, shika kalamu.
I was waiting.
Soma gazeti.
Gee, man. Whatever you're drinking, can you share? All right. On the front page of the Standard, abductions. Interior CS police on the spot. Who is the Interior CS?
Who knows?
Exactly.
There's none.
But whoever... You see? Do you see? If
there
you
is Musalia Mudavadi, who is the acting cabinet secretary for the interior.
So he's now under the spots.
Yeah,
on the spots.
He's in all of them.
All the spots. All right. Well, let's see. 2 government rights watchdogs want MPs to sanction the interior cabinet secretary and the and the inspector general of police over police misconduct during anti-tax demonstrations. Does it mean the CS who was there at the time? That would be interesting. This is while legislators demand legislators demand answers on abductions, extrajudicial killings, and the results of the KNHCR and IPA probe. There's a picture there of 2 individuals. These individuals are in the race to be declared or not president of the United States. Kamala versus Trump. Who will it be? Americans went to the polls yesterday. Their yesterday is our today. In an extraordinary U.S. presidential race, the tightest and most volatile White House contest in modern times, and which will either make Kamala Harris the first woman president or hand Donald Trump a comeback that sends shockwaves around the world. 270 is the number of electors needed to win the U.S. presidency. The Americans vote for 538 electors as assigned to various states in an indirect election, who in turn then elect the president. So what everybody's running around voting for right now is the electors. Looking at other headlines, why bottom-up model is struggling. Really, it's struggling. The Parliamentary Budget Office outlines multiple obstacles that have slowed down the bottom-up economic model's effectiveness, among them the growing tax burdens and the inefficient resource allocation, which stands in stark contrast to campaign promises to cut taxes and make life more affordable for the average citizen. So this bottom-up is not working. Fresh bid for free education. Say what? Even the one that's free is not free. Anyway, Kiambu Senator Karongo Thangwa wants 112 billion shillings to various bursary kitties consolidated and used to free secondary education. This I agree with. This one I agree with. I think it is a fantastic idea. And I think it should be passed, done, quick, hurry,
This
now.
fella comes up with some really, really interesting ideas, doesn't it?
This is a very good one, though. And I think this one we've been crying for and saying this is the way in which it would work. KRA goes after nil tax filers. Everybody says tax nil, nothing, made nothing this year. KRA says, hang on a minute, how about we give that a look-see? Okay, on the front page of The Nation today, America's choice. They're calling it historic as well in that. We'll look into the details of that and what's going on and have a look at, real quick, what the results starting to trickle in are saying. Ruto headache in picking interior CS. Well, whoever it is has some questions to answer.
He's headaching over it. Okay.
Another headache. Ryla's AUC power team, ex-diplomats, top strategists, run his well-oiled campaign. Let's see what that ends up to be. Now, state changes tune on Shah. Non-salaried will now have an option to pay premiums monthly.
How was it before?
So, I don't know.
Okay, we'll see the story.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Nikwambie, senators plan to save MCAs from governor's grip. What does that mean? It means that lawmakers have thrown their weight behind the bill seeking to give county assemblies financial autonomy. We shouldn't have to be linked to governors. We should be able to run the ship
Essentially, they want
on
to be
our
like,
own.
They want to be like Parliament.
This is it.
Yeah. CBK says, no, the Business Daily.
Wow.
Borrowers hit as IMF opposes CBK's plan to cut the cost of loans. The IMF is warning Kenya against a larger interest rate cut despite the fall in inflation to a 17-year low and the recent stability of the shilling, saying easing monetary policy risks price stability. See what you central bank surely. The IMF is cautioning clashes with recent pronouncements by the Treasury and the CBK that rates should be brought down in order to stimulate economic growth and tame the rising non-performing loans in the banking sector. So remember when CS Buddy was here and he said, you know what, I think if we lower this and we start getting out of the domestic market, then let people access the money. CBK has started lowering the interest rate. IMF is like, don't touch it. We don't pay IMF. Growth of new taxpayers slows on collapsed finance bill. The KRA expects a slower growth in the number of new taxpayers that it targets to recruit in the current financial year after its strategy was derailed by the collapse of the finance bill. Okay. Ticker headlines. Kenya Power to renew contract with most expensive producer. So they'll sign a fresh power purchase agreement with Moroni Gas Turbine, the most expensive thermal plant in the country, to show up power supply to Western Kenya. All right. But how much power is it supplying anyway? And so much is the total?
These fellows are paid even if they're not powering or transmitting anything.
Yep.
Yes, is that not part of the agreement?
That's part of it, eh?
Yes.
But also, you have to have it running. But most likely, like in the Muhoroni guys, because they're stabilizing that side of Western Kenya, it's usually on. You'll find that that power gas turbine will be coming on at some point. Private sector activity recovers on increased demand for goods. Naivas profit falls 18% on increased expenses. And UK invests 671 million shillings to support Kenya's MSMEs. The UK government has announced a 671 million shillings commitment to support MSMEs in Kenya and boost economic growth and job creation. Really? My God, I'll find out where that money is. I need it. Lerito Mureithi, the former governor of Laikipia County, has written an opinion piece in the Business Daily today. If inflation is as low as the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics is saying, why are we not filling it in our pockets? If you want to know more, read that article. City? The Star.
Right, top right-hand corner.
Yes.
In green.
Very good.
35 years in jail for 2 suspects who killed athlete Kiplagat.
Wow.
This is the story on page 9. All right? These gentlemen who are called, there's one called Peter Ushuru and there's David Ekal.
He's called Peter Ushuru.
Yeah, that's his name, Ushuru.
Okay.
As in Peter Tax.
Okay.
Right. Ay, my goodness. Anyway, court summons IG Kanja as Pendo case adjourned. Police Chief Douglas Kanja has been summoned to court as Baby Pendo murder case failed to take off yet again after 2 of the suspects failed to show up. 12 police bosses who are believed to bear the greatest responsibility for the killing during the 2017 post-poll chaos in Kisumu were to be charged today. Right?
Leo he. Oh my goodness.
Yes. This landmark. Sanctions. The same story.
Yeah.
Sanction.
I like it. That one.
Let's go on.
Please continue.
Let's continue.
Please continue.
Sanction Interior CS over Gen Z killings, KNHCR. This one has already been mentioned. The Star are mentioning the same thing.
Okay.
Ceiling leakages. Why counties are losing billions in own source cash. This is an ongoing story. It's not new. It's just come up yet again.
There's no why. It's obvious.
It is clear. In fact, this one doesn't even require investigation.
They're not losing billions. They're eating it.
Yes, exactly. If this story that we've been told on many occasions that KRA is going to go after people by looking at lifestyle, blah, blah, blah.
And their faces.
Man, that one would help you enormously. Because most people who take this money spend it. And they spend it in the most opulent way possible, so it isn't difficult to figure out. Anyway, watch Apple. Bang in the middle of the paper, in cold blood, who will stop these killings? The gruesome nature of the murders has sparked nationwide outcry, with many calling the president to declare the situation a national disaster. What is the situation? The number of women who have been killed in this country and continue to be killed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pictures of women who have been killed.
Wow.
Yes, with varying degrees of gruesomeness.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me tell you what's in the People Daily and how Ruto police crushed Gen Zs.
My goodness.
People Daily. Rights Commission and Police Oversight Agency released the damning report. So it's the same. It's a report by the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights and the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. Then there's Taifa Leo. Wapi Taifa Leo bana? Njoo hapo Taifa Leo bana. Headline kwenye Taifa Leo hii leo. Somebody actually gave me an idea for what bang in the middle of the paper is in Kiswahili, but I've forgotten it. Mpango wa maseneta kuokoa MCR. Wataka mabunge ya kaunti huru kifedha ili kuwapa uhuru kutoka kwa magavana. Walimu jela kwa wizi wa mtihani. Zaidi ya watu 10 wakiwemo walimu 8 wamekamatwa over leaking exams. ODM UDA kupiga kura kote nchini. Vyama vyakabiliwa na mtihani vikirejea uchaguzi zake za mashinani mwezi huu. Nonsense. These parties keep saying they're having their national elections. Never happens. Mabalozi kuvumisha Raila AUC. Kikosi cha shirikisha waliokuwa mabalozi na wapangaji mikakati kumpigia jeki kule AUC. Okay? Majeshi ya North Korea yatua Russia. Korea Kusini yadai maelfu ya wanajeshi wa Korea Kaskazini wamewasili Urusi. So South Korea is claiming that the troops from North Korea have crossed over into Russia. Maybe they're getting training and then they'll be unleashed. Bangi katikati ya gazeti. Wa Amerika kuamua kwenye uchaguzi wenye ushindani ambapo Harris na Trump anaweza kushinda. Uamuzi wa kihistoria. They're looking at the American election. The front page there is a front photo is the same front photo as the one in the Nation. Let's take a look at traffic at 23 minutes to 7. At what has Ken had done with Mombasa Road?
Sasa unaona ukikuja just there at where GM used to be. Still there, GM is still there. But now where they added the expressway. So the Mombasa Road is a mess, you know. Now inbound to the city. That was really, so now they're recarpeting the road, and hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, this time round they'll put some signage on it.
Have they put any signage?
Even when they had fixed it the first time, they didn't. So
now
that's
this
why
time
we're saying
it's
we are
been happening since the weekend.
So they're recarpeting which part of the road?
Going now
towards town.
Okay.
So they've closed the road,
so now you have to use the ICD route to now come round Liberia House and then connect. So that section between General Motors and the first exit to the entry to the expressway is what they're working on. Yeah.
Madness,
I'm telling you.
Total chaos.
Personally, I don't understand.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
I know mkona talents, lakini mkona vibe. It's time to discover East Africa's newest talent. Ni mda wa Kenya kuchachisha. Anguka nayo kati toka, utuonyeshe hizi stars zako. Africa's biggest talent show, Bongo Star Search, is coming to Kenya. Stand a chance to win amazing prizes and work with the biggest names in entertainment. Majudges, wakiongozwa na Rita, Master J, Salama Jabir, and our very own Sanaipe Itande, watakuwa pale tukicheka na tukilia. Tulieni mpangwe wasee. From majenzi hadi wakoro, students na corporates, jitokeze tujue nani mzii. Tukutane Kenya National Theatre on Friday 29th and Saturday 30th November. Kosa uchekwe brother. BSS Season 15, sasa Beyond Borders. Si mchezo. Tune in to ST Swahili Channel 160 or 400 every Sunday at 9 p.m. and on Wednesday for an extra highlights show at 8:30 p.m. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Some traffic on the Thika Superhighway that's finding its way into the city. Kiambu Road is not looking too bad, but as you come off around Muthaiga Square, you'll then join with that traffic there. Also, some traffic starting to build on Waiyaki Way as you come in from Spring Valley towards Lower Kabete. Rather, as you come in from Lower Kabete heading out towards Spring Valley, we'll see some traffic there. But everything else seems to be just going along, A-OK, hunky-dory, no problems. Eastern Bypass heading towards North Airport Road, there's some traffic. There is traffic on Mombasa Road as you come past General Motors. You're going to use the ICD route and then come back round to get back onto Mombasa Road. So that continues for some time. Keeping an eye on things as we get into traffic hour this Wednesday. Let's talk on SpiceFM KE on X hashtag the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Someone has suggested to me, Tony Malesi says, should say, pa, katikati mwa gazeti.
Oh, pa. Oh. From tomorrow.
Yeah. From tomorrow it's bang.
From tomorrow it's pa. Oh, it's a bang. Okay, so.
Haya, America kunaendaje? Hebu angalia kwenye CNN.
Let's take a look real quick at what they're telling us is that, so what you want to look at is the electoral vote. So it's the road to 270 and it looks like you got 207 red so far, 91
Trump
blue.
207.
207. So now when we say 91. Red, that's Republican, blue is the Democrat, right? And it's looking at state per state. If we're looking at what's happening now, It seems as though Harris is in the lead in the state of Maine. Trump with 61,802. Trump trailing at 47% with, and then it goes quickly to New Hampshire, and they're looking at certain states which have really previously taken the bag when it comes to these votes. If we now look at Vermont, where again Harris is in the lead by about 100,000 votes. And just to see that these are still results that are trickling in, and we've seen that states have flipped. And that we've seen that states can very easily flip. We've seen that states that have been blue, that have gone to the Democrat vote an hour ago, have flipped to red. We've also seen that the opposite has happened, where states that have gone to Harris have gone to Trump, have flipped and gone to Harris. So we won't know really until we know, but it looks like there's a significant lead in the electoral votes now going to Trump.
What I've often wondered, if the electoral college is the ones to determine who wins,
why don't they just determine it from the beginning?
Thank you so much. I mean, why
go through all this to give 538 people essentially?
Call them and say electoral college.
How do you see?
How do you see this thing?
Well, see, they don't actually determine, right?
They don't actually determine.
No. If you win a certain state, right, you take the college votes for that state. So basically, it's not that Trump can win Ohio, for instance, and then the votes for that state can go to Harris.
Are you sure? Me, I'm not sure.
It's. I think there are just a couple of 3 or 4 states where they actually decide. So here it goes 50-50, depending on how it...
The swing states.
Yeah. How it even goes. No, it's how it looks at how many votes did you get. So if you got to a certain many, then you qualify for one or something electoral college votes. But in many states, you win the popular vote, you carry.
You get the college vote.
The college votes.
I still don't understand.
Crazy.
Complicated the thing.
Crazy.
This thing, it looks to me like it's pre-rigged.
It's a battle to 270.
It's a battle to 270. Now, for example, you see a state like Utah where they have nothing so far. They have still yet to start seeing the votes trickle in. And so it's still a long way coming. And guys are still voting, mind you.
And Utah has 6 electoral votes.
Yes.
So it is nothing really. 6 electoral votes won't change anything, will
they? They will.
It's significant. 6 per state for this state is quite significant. Yes.
Which state has the largest electoral vote?
If she gets the 6, she goes to 97. She's getting closer and closer.
200 and you're seeking 270.
This guy has 63 to go.
Yeah. Are there states that have 50, 60? So that when you get that state, you get 60 immediately. Then we know where you're going with it.
When Trump takes an early, how many candidates are there in the U.S. presidential election in 2024?
I'm sure they're not 2. The others, but we don't know them and they don't count.
Let me give you
others are the Republicans, of course, have Trump and Vance. The Democrats have Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. There's another party called the Third Party, which has a presidential candidate called Cornel West. And the running mate is called Melina Abdullah.
Very good.
There's another party called... who is this? There's Independent, I think. Jill Stein for president and doesn't even have a running mate.
Let me give you some of the numbers that you'll be looking for in terms of electoral votes, right? California has 54 electoral votes.
Yeah,
those are the most.
Texas has 40. Florida has 30.
Very good.
New York has 28.
Yes.
Illinois has 19.
Yes.
Pennsylvania that's your state, has 19.
Yeah.
Ohio has 17. Georgia has 60. North Carolina 16.
16. Oh.
Highest is California.
And remember, Harris is a Californian. Okay. New Jersey has 14. Virginia 13, and it goes down like that, with the lowest being Wyoming, Vermont with 3, South Dakota, North Dakota, District of Columbia, Delaware, Alaska, like that.
Those are the 3311. Have they already been counted?
Some of them have.
All right. So essentially, Harris needs California. Has New York come in?
Needs all those.
We don't know if New York
he needs California, he needs Florida.
He needs New York. Then that one.
He needs Illinois and Pennsylvania.
We'll have a looking thing. But so far, this thing.
So let's see what California does for Harris.
See, we will see.
We'll see for now.
And then we will see what Texas does for Trump.
Exactly. But bado. The swing states.
What is the Tharakanithi?
Florida.
Oh, from the time of Bush.
It's always been, for some reason, it's always been the Tharakanithi. But I want to tell you,
in the east, but they announced their election last. I mean, they started voting early.
But they never tell you what's up until later.
It's Tharakanithi.
Exactly.
Do they also have returning officers who disappear?
There have been issues. There have been issues in this election already. For example, there's a state that already had a recount.
The first count didn't quite go well.
Yeah, they had to recount some 300,000 votes.
Hey, those are many.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that story. I was seeing it down here in the CNN updates. Milwaukee finishes recounting 30,000 absentee ballots as counting proceeds swiftly. They counted more than 63,000 out of about 107,000 absentee ballots, officials announced, making faster progress after an error in setting up tabulator machines required a recount of about 30,000. Joseka Mago alikuja computer ka freeze. The city redid all of those 30,000 ballots and has been progressing swiftly since. See? Because some issues. Yeah. Some Nevada polling places have hours-long wait as polls are closing. Polls are coming to an end and there are people still on the queue. You know? Hey, Trump has just been winning in the CNN projections, man. Montana with 4, Nevada with 6, Utah with 6. Just taking those ones.
See, there are some places where someone is winning and by 22,000. Then there's another one, someone is winning and has 1 million. You know this 22,000 thing. Those which have 1, 1, 2, 2 things, electoral votes. Yeah.
South Dakota has 3 electoral votes.
Yeah.
South Dakota. See, there's a North Dakota.
There is.
Okay. And they're also Americans.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, with only 3.
3 electoral votes.
You know this.
Can we? It's very interesting. This system, want to be studied.
No, the interesting thing is, why did they set it up this way?
Yeah, historically, there's a reason for it. I want to go back and read into that again, actually.
Because there's a reason why they set it up. Yes. Anyway,
can we come to Kenya for a minute? Because I want to look at a story. I thought about this yesterday, and I think we really need to have this discussion.
We should go.
KCPE came to an end last year. The last KCPE was written in 2023.
Yes.
Now, the last KCSC will be written in 2027. Now, we do not have Form 1s essentially going to high school next year, as we normally would. What we have is that who would be grade 9s. Now, are these grade 9s reporting to high schools around the country, or are these grade 9s remaining where they are and to be deemed part of junior secondary school?
They're remaining where they are.
So now, high schools who will have Form 2, 3, and 4, will they not receive new students?
Nope.
They will not receive. So schools will remain as Form 2, 3, and 4.
Yep.
If you take a public high school, for example, take your pick, whatever. State House Girls, for example. The Form 4s, when they finish their KCSE at the end of November, right? The schools in January will now only have
Form 2, 3, and
4.
3
and 4.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That is what is happening come
January. Yes.
Now, all of those schools who have finished their grade 8 and will now be grade 9s will just stay where they are?
Yes.
Okay. January is going to be an interesting month.
Remember how the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms organized this thing? We now call those previously called primary schools, they're now called comprehensive schools. Okay. They have
according
ECD,
to the paper.
Yes, they have ECD, they have primary and junior secondary.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, it's not called junior secondary, it's called junior school. Okay. That's it. So it's from grade whatever, let's just say grade 1 to grade 9 is this one school. Then senior secondary is now what will be grade 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
3 years. Okay. So that's how it's going to be. Secondary is not going to have 4 classes.
No, it will just
we'll
be
never
3.
have 4.
Yeah, and now there'll be They're their pathways.
Yes. So that's what is going to happen next year.
That's what's going to happen next
Now
year.
the question is, do we have classrooms to accommodate grade 9s?
No.
We've been spending, no. We have been working to Metenga Pesa, 9 billion shillings to build classrooms, and that is going very well. We have even bought desks, and that is going very well.
Okay.
So by next year, early next year, we had about 50% completion rate. By January, all the classrooms in the country should be complete, and all our grade 8s should smoothly transition to grade 9, where they will find new classrooms, enough desks, teacher learning materials, and even teachers.
Okay.
Are we together?
No, me, I'm definitely not together.
Now, as you're not together, let me do something together for you. So that's now, okay? Senator Thangwa files a motion seeking to consolidate bursaries. Kiambu Senator Karongo Thangwa has filed a motion before the Senate seeking the consolidation of bursaries to ensure equitable access to education. Thangwa proposes that the Ministry of Education consolidate the funds distributed by various government entities and agencies with the aim of directing these funds directly to schools as supplementary capitation to facilitate the achievement of free secondary education. So he's saying that, because it goes on and on, there are many things here. But at the end, I think, number one, it's a good idea. Number two, what we are saying now is that this whole story of saying, oh, we need school fees, we're not being able to do here, there's this fund, there's this. All that money is available somewhere. Bring it, put it, send the money to schools directly, so that students, all they need to do is show up in school when school opens. Cool? Not all this... Not all this drama that we've been seeing before of I actually think it's a good idea. It is going to run now concurrently with all these other drama that we've been talking about. Do we have enough? Are we not in November? We're in November, Abi?
We are.
Okay. And then there's December. Then after December, January 7th, schools open. These classrooms that we're talking about for the 1 million grade 9s, 1 million guys, grade 9s. Now grade 8s will be grade 9s in January. The classes must be finished and prepared for them. All the equipment that they need must be finished and ready for them in the schools where they are currently, or the schools that they will go to in January to start their grade 9. Because we're not saying that you have to stay in your school. You might decide that for grade 9, you want to go to another school, right? Those schools must have all of those facilities in place. All the classrooms that the government has said, 9.3 billion was it? That they said they want to spend to build those classrooms must be done in the next 6 weeks.
Yes.
KNEC said that they have, KICD said that they have all of the books and everything ready. Now it's a matter of maybe now just printing and distributing, that kind of thing. So if we're to take them at face value, then 2025 will be an epic year in terms of education, because everything will run smoothly. January 7th we will come.
All the ducks are in a row, my friend.
No problem. Teachers would have been sorted. They'll be ready to teach. This transition from whatever to junior school will be sorted out. 2025 is a year for the books in terms of education.
Yes.
All of these things that we are saying are going wrong.
It will not happen.
It will not happen.
Not in this country.
No. Everything.
There is no crisis in Kenya's education sector.
Okay.
None at all. Anybody who says that is just an enemy of progress.
It's very good.
Propagandists and all those things. Now, this report by the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, together with the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, members of Parliament have been urged to sanction Interior CS and the Inspector General of Police over police misconduct during the anti-tax demonstrations. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights and the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority said the two should be held responsible for police misconduct. The groups were appearing before the National Assembly's Administration and Internal Security Committee to shed light on abductions, extrajudicial killings, and the results of their investigations. They offered non-conclusive information on police conduct during the Gen Z anti-government demonstrations. The State Human Rights Agency particularly wants IG Douglas Kanja to provide deployment plans as well as officers involved in the operations, their names, ranks, and service numbers. They said Kanja should ensure that the Commission accesses all police stations as well as any required information. The Commission faulted the Director of Public Prosecutions, saying he's yet to charge anyone despite investigations being complete and files forwarded to him. KNCHR insists that 60 people were killed during the demos as a result of bullet wounds suspected to have been fired by the police officers. They say 1,376 people were arrested countrywide. The number could be higher, but due to budget constraints, they were not able to monitor the whole country. They had recorded 71 cases of abductions. 26 people are still missing. 26. Unasikia? Now, these are two state-funded agencies that are appearing before the oversight that is called Parliament and saying, you know what, from what we are seeing, there was gross violation of human rights by the agency that is required to actually uphold the rule of law, the Kenya National Police Service. Okay? And we need sanctions taken. Now, let's see what the Parliament, these MPs in that committee were even hearing what they were told. Because in any other given day, when you state that there are 26 people who are still missing, and this is a government-funded entity that is saying there are 26 people that we've recorded who are missing, the next thing would be like, can you call this Kanja man?
Very fast.
Can you come and tell us who are these 26 people who are missing? Okay, these 60 people who died, what are we doing about it? How can we? These are the questions that you should be hearing, but you will hear nothing from the Parliament. Now, you know the way they say nothing in Kenya? Put your thumb and your teeth like this and say, no. No. Siti, read a story. Story, yo.
Yes. Something which is not depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kerry, why counties are losing billions in own source revenue?
I thought you said something that's not depressing.
That's a very good one.
Okay. No, this one is not depressing at all. Okay, because you see, when you have a magician's act and you want to read about it, okay, one moment there's money, the next moment it has disappeared. Is that not a magician's act?
It's a great thing.
Counties use disjointed systems, some contract firms to collect revenue on their behalf. The Kenya Revenue Authority is rooting for the deployment of an integrated county revenue management system to see leakages costing the counties billions of shillings. These counties are actually independent entities. Okay? All right. KRA Commissioner General Humphrey Watanga told the Senate ICT Committee how the devolved units are losing revenue. The adoption of a single ICRMS across the counties will help enhance own source revenue at the counties as well as provide additional benefits to the two levels of government. The committee, chaired by Trans Nzoia Senator Alan Chesang, is inquiring into the effectiveness of the revenue system deployed by counties. Currently, counties use disjointed system, with some contracting financial technology firms to automate and collect revenue on their behalf. Senators are pushing for Auditor General Nancy Gathungu to audit external revenue collection firms following concerns over accuracy of revenue figures they declare. You see, let me tell you why I've chosen this particular story. People like taking pot shots at the national government belong to some county or the other, all right? What we see happening in the counties can be argued are a mirror image of what is happening at the national level. The monies that go to counties by way of devolution were intended to provide the sort of progress plan development that are specific to the counties and to meet the specific needs that counties have. Now, if the citizens of these counties are not able to hold their governors to account, they are not able to hold their assemblies to account, and yet there's all this noise about holding the National Assembly to account, and yet money is money, whether it is at the national level or whether it is at the county level. People at the county level are even easier to hold to account. Do you know why? Because your MCA is your cousin, is your relative, is somebody next to you. That's somebody you can see and someone you can talk to. If you're talking about the assembly and where they meet, it is very easily accessible. It is futile making all the noise that we make as Kenyans regarding the national government when we are unable to hold to account our county governments. Yes, because
should do both.
Yes, you should.
At the same time.
Yes, you should.
Well, in the next hour, we talk about earning and growing your wealth. Remember, download Tala. We'll tell you more about it later. 7 a.m. news time.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has assured Kenyans and urged them to move on and accept the fact that he was impeached. Speaking at a funeral service, Gachagua, however, maintained that he was removed from office due to his nature of being a truthful man. And moving on, 12 suspects linked to a fake gold scam syndicate will be arraigned today to face charges of fraud. They were arrested in a crackdown by detectives from the Operation Support Unit in Nairobi's Runda Estate. During the operation, investigators seized key evidence, including counterfeit gold, spray paint, and padlocks used to create the fake gold. The arrests followed a scam in which 2 foreign nationals were duped into purchasing 35 kilograms of fake gold, losing over 5 million shillings in the process. The education sector is staring at looming crisis if over 16,000 classrooms pledged by the government are not completed by January to allow for grade 9 transition. The Kenya Primary School Heads Association chairperson Johnson Zioker says the government needs to work around the clock and deliver the classrooms in a record less than 60 days to avoid burdening the already congested primary public schools.
In some areas, the grade 8s are already congested. They have big numbers in one room. So we wouldn't like to have the same big numbers in grade 9. The budget which is set aside for construction of classrooms should be reviewed upward, because we believe and because we have been on the ground. The 1 million which is being set aside for a classroom is very strenuous to achieve.
Kule mashinani hatujakuwa na darasa ambayo imeanzishwa kuchengwa. Kwa hivyo unashindwa hii darasa itachengwa kwa muda wa miezi mingapi ili iweze kuandaliwa tunapojiunga na grade ya 9 mwaka ujao.
Public Service CS Felix Sigei and his basic education counterpart Belia Kipsang maintain that it will be all systems go for grade 9 students come January next year.
Classrooms does not cost too much. It may be $1 million, it may be slightly higher, but as we see, the average cost of a classroom, as we speak, still is $1 million.
We are making critical progress in ensuring that the more than 16,000 classrooms that we require for our children to transition to grade 9 are being done and done with a lot of efficiency. We have been visiting a number of our schools. I visited quite a number of schools yesterday, both here in Mombasa and Kilifi. And one of the schools which we are building 6 classrooms, the classrooms are ready for usage in January.
Hopes of finding a solution to the ongoing lecturer strike are slowly fading away as students continue to remain in a limbo. In the mediation meeting held yesterday, the representatives of the university councils failed to arrive, while the lecturers emphasized the need to be given 9.7 billion shillings. Representatives of the unions of lecturers and other workers who attended the meeting, which included officials from the Ministry of Education and Labour, insisted that the 4 billion shillings proposed by the government is not enough to even satisfy half of their interests that they agreed upon in the contract to return to work on 26th of September.
As advised by the government, the 3 unions accept the Kenya shillings 4.3 billion as the funds available.
Now they are telling us what the government has offered is 4.3. Let us try to fit it. I want to say whether you fit it like what, it cannot conform to the terms and provisions of the return to work formula.
However, the members of the committee that was tasked to bring together the parties involved raised questions about the amount of money, asking for documents to verify what they agreed on.
Chair, the 4.3 billion forms the backbone of this engagement. Chair, they have not provided any documents.
We can undertake to go and ask for that later and come back to report.
That's the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
All right, a look at what's happening on the roads this morning. Yes, we do have some traffic. It's on the ICD because that part of Mombasa Road is actually closed because of the construction. ICD has some traffic inbound. It'll connect later with Mombasa Road, so watch out for that. North Airport Road is busy coming in from the Eastern Bypass. Also, some outbound traffic on Outer Ring. That's also proving to be a thing this morning. Donholm, Savannah Road, Manyanja Road off the jump this morning, very busy, as well as Jogo Road heading out towards Landis. Let's take a quick look at what's happening on the Thika Superhighway. There's traffic through and through coming in from Garden City, and it will be busy. Kiambu Road is also starting to build up as we get into Wednesday proper. All right. Also a look at coming off of Ngong Road. Not too bad. We'll get into the city without too much of a headache. Let's see what happens as we get into traffic hour. For now, I think we're doing all right. SpiceFM KE on X. Hashtag the Situation Room.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Broadcasting from Nairobi to the world, thank you for joining us. This is the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room. Also monitoring closely what's going on and the projected results coming out of the US election. So what do you have the latest from CNN's projection?
Well, if we're looking at the road to 270 right now, it's 211 red and 145 blue. Essentially what that means is that you're looking to 270 electoral votes and rather the collegiate votes, and right now it looks as though Trump is in the lead. Those numbers will flip as we go on and more numbers come in, so we understand that although folks, that everybody is really quite excited at the numbers right now, it's still very early to call. But if all indications from what we are seeing now is that Trump is solidly in the lead.
211 to 145.
211 to 145.
They're projecting that Kamala Harris has taken California, which has 54 electoral votes, and that's what has brought her into that 145 zone. Trump earlier took Florida, and Florida was also actually doing a referendum as well on the matter of abortion, where the vote was whether to approve some other areas and levels of abortion, and apparently they said no. No. Abortion after a certain number of weeks. I'm just going to get those details shortly. They've said no to that. So in addition to this election, the voters in various states are also doing their own internal referenda on their own internal laws on what should happen and what happens. Yes. So Florida votes Tuesday to... The Florida voters rejected creating a constitutional right to abortion, a political win for Republican Governor Ron DeSantis that will keep in place the state's ban on most abortions after the first 6 weeks of pregnancy. Yep. That's what's happening, Wana. That is what's happening. City, something is happening this weekend on the 9th of October.
Yes.
In Parklands.
It's November.
Yes. Oh, it's November?
November.
Oh, October was last month.
Usually that's how it happens.
All right. This one is called November. Okay. So the 9th of November, what happens?
Well, what happens, or rather what is going to happen of significance, there is a place in Parklands called the Gallant Mall. They are going to have an official Study in Ireland fair. Okay. Now, this fair is opened to you so long as you register. Because that registration is what will afford you an invitation to the fair. What's the fair about? Well, the fair is an educational fair. The educational fair has been organized by Cradle, cradle.com. And they're saying that there's 3 reasons why you should attend the Study in Ireland Fair. 1, you will get direct access to top universities. They also say you'll discover Ireland's career opportunities.
Right.
Lastly, when it comes to matters of visa, you will get expert advice. And all you need to do is go to www, I don't know how many W's there are.
There are 3.
There are 3, okay. .cradle.com. And you can register, and by registering, you will gain entry because you'll then be given an invitation. Okay? The fair starts from 9 a.m.
Very good.
So?
Very good.
Yes.
What day is it?
9th of November.
What day is that?
Oh, the day of the week?
Yes.
I have absolutely no idea.
It would be Saturday.
Saturday?
Well, in this case, Eric, it is as you wanted. It is Saturday.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. Have you visited Taifa Pension Fund? I have to say it slowly. Taifa Pension Fund. Have you visited Taifa Pension Fund? www, again, 3 W's, taifapensionfund.com. This is where you get to learn more about Taifa Pension Fund, registered and regulated by the Retirement Benefits Authority. It's a pension product for all, tailored to offer a safe and secure way to save for retirement. It's a contracted out scheme receiving tier 2 contributions. Please, very many benefits for your employees, very many benefits as well for you as an employer. You can actually just take up your pension for your employees into this particular type of pension fund managed by CPF Financial Services. Very, very good, right? Our conversation, now that we've been talking about, wealth creation and retirement, thinking about retirement and education, let's talk about the money itself. Where is the money coming from? And that's why we've invited Robert Kibara, who's the group CEO of HF Group. HF Group.
HF
Group. I think there's a P somewhere. It's going to confuse. HF Group. Robert, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Since the last time you were here, City has grown his wealth by about, I think, was it 16% you're telling us, City? Yeah.
That is good.
That is after tax.
After tax. He's doing well.
Yes.
He's doing well. And so he's back from the Maghreb, where he was selling oil and getting Proverbs. Now he's in the DRC. Yeah, he's in the DRC. Yeah, he's mining
and selling timber.
Okay. Right, the proverb?
Yes, the proverb of the day. Maize grows for those who do not have teeth.
Maize grows for those who do not have teeth.
Yes.
Okay. The proverb,
it's over.
Oh, that is indeed. Maize grows for those who don't have teeth. It just says that things don't always go together. So you'll find that when you don't have the teeth, that is when there is maize. And when there is and when you have the teeth, the maize is not there.
You have put it very well.
Things don't always align, eh?
Things don't always go together. And that's okay. That's how life was. Life is not linear.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So what do you do now when you have maize and you have no teeth?
Make porridge. Oh, sorry.
Make porridge or...
nice one.
Yeah, it's not linear. Things don't always work together or match.
Adjust. Very good. Last time you were here, we were talking about, for example, how people think in terms of just money and investment and their ideas of it. And you also started by telling us about your own experiences. But let's start. How many years have you been in the banking industry? How many years have you been in the financial?
30 years.
30 years in banking?
Yeah.
30 years in banking?
30 years in banking. I started at 21. Just actually 20.
What were you doing then? What did you start off as doing?
So I started off as a bank clerk. I had just quit university. And quit, yeah. It's a long story. So it's a long story. I can give you just a snippet of it.
Please.
Okay. So I think I'm one of the fortunate people to have known what they would like to do in their life in terms of career very early. So I used to go to the bank with my folks when I was a young person, maybe 12. And I would see people counting with these words of money, at Barclays Bank, then up country. And I would just say, this is where I wanted to work. I just want to, there was a lot of cash transactions. So there was these big piles of cash. So you go to the bank and you're queuing and you see people just dealing with money. And I told myself, first of all, this is a company I want to work for. And number two, this is my career. And I made up my mind. So when I was admitted to do education and there's nothing wrong with that. At KU, and KU is a good university. I tried my luck. I applied for a job at that same bank. At the first time, second time I succeeded. I went to the school, collected all my things and left.
How many years had you done?
That was my second year.
As in you quit in your second year?
I quit my second year. And what I told my mother then was, I've been studying, I've been preparing to become a banker all my life up to now. I am a banker now.
This is it.
This is it.
What more are we looking for?
What are we looking for? And I quit university actually. So later on, I started working then when I was very young.
When you were interviewing at Barclays, did they know that you were a student?
Yeah.
Did the question come up?
The question came up and I told them I wanted to become a banker. I want to become a banker. This is not what, and I'll study banking.
Okay. What are you studying at KU?
Education, literature, and English.
Yes.
Okay.
You're twin.
That's exactly what I studied. Why didn't they give you business?
Long and short of it is that I later studied my first degree is in banking and finance. And did other things, and I've been a banker since.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed that journey?
If I was to start all over again, I would do the same.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you went to the bank.
I went to the bank, yes.
As you were looking at, going into banking, you're seeing these guys, the clerks, the tellers, just handing out cash, and you thought you're touching money on a daily basis. When you got into banking and you started doing the same thing,
it wasn't as interesting, obviously. It wasn't as interesting, but I think I later found now the purpose, the true purpose.
Yeah.
And that purpose is assisting people, supporting people to just achieve their objectives, their financial objectives. And over those years, I have seen people, just the transformative power of banking. That you can start somebody off with a small business, and eventually they hire thousands of people. I can give you many examples of people I've worked with from the time I started, who we started off with one guy started off with just one projector. One project. He just came and told me he's working with a company where they lend out projectors and he wants me to help me to buy one projector. And working with him over time, he's hiring hundreds of people in the largest company that gives audiovisual services in Kenya today. So, and I can tell you many, many stories of people who have transformed their lives through just the transformative power of banking.
So what's your role in his story?
What's my role?
Yeah.
I believed in that particular person, I believed in their story. They said, I work here. If you help me just get one projector, I can be able to lend it to these people. I already have these customers, and I just believed in the guy and said, okay, we'll take a chance on you. And many years later now, he's doing a huge player. He does UN type functions today.
Big conferences.
And I can tell you hundreds of people that I have seen totally transform their lives through that. So that purpose, just seeing people create value for themselves and others through that transformative power banking, is the reason why if I started today, I would still be a banker.
What do you think is that key ingredient? I mean, for someone to come and say, I started my hotel chain with one bin, what do they need?
The key ingredient.
What is it that they ought to have?
Okay. I think there are many things that they need to have. One of the things that I've seen that most business people have, even just in career, is courage. I think the reason why most people sell themselves short is there is this thinking that there are a certain category of people who are made to succeed, and others who are made to, or to not succeed. But
Or
the machine
to
that
work for
makes
the-
us,
to work for those that succeed.
yes, but the machine that makes us is neutral. The material that makes up one person, we are all made up of flesh and some bones. We are all born as 3 kilos when we come to this world. There's nobody flies into this world, nobody drives into this world. All of us are created that way. So I believe that nature is neutral, that what somebody else can do, anybody can do. But you really actually need to have the courage to push for your own personal space in the world. That courage to do things, to overcome fear, is really just the first one. To do that. I think the other thing that I've seen that makes people get ahead a lot is just using knowledge. There are more people who are becoming successful today, starting from nothing, than any other time in human history. And the difference is knowledge. That there is liberalization of knowledge. Whatever you would like to learn, you can learn. But the person who gets to know and use more information about a particular field, more than other people in that field, rises or succeeds in that field. And it doesn't matter the field. It could be running. I mean, we have Kenyans here who are doing huge exploits from just running. Kukamasa. You know? And then, of course, there is the third thing I'd say, and the last one is, I would say, discipline and consistency beats motivation anytime.
Those two things, Robert, those things are not easy.
They are not easy, but
discipline
actually,
and consistency.
Those are hard, but they beat motivation anytime. Motivation is fleeting.
Yeah. Discipline and consistency.
Yes.
City ask.
No, it makes perfect sense though. Because if you look at life, it's like a reflection of life. Most of life is mundane and repetitive. It's not even exciting.
Yeah.
Most things that we do are the same things we do over and you wake up, you do this. If you work, just look at it. It's repetitive.
It's repetitive.
Yes. Now, the people who can chime in with this repetitiveness and then understand the other additional value you need to add to it, are the people who actually go far, because you're doggedly determined.
Yeah.
You see, it's like talent. It is good to have talent, but if, as my brother here says, you know, everybody's brother nowadays. Like my brother here says, if you don't have the discipline, because in the absence of that discipline, you can't have that consistency, because consistency requires discipline. Irrespective of whatever else happens, you are going to continue doing this. Let me ask, when you wanted to follow a certain career path, and you had a very clear idea of what it is that you wanted to do, did you find that what you wanted to do rhymed with the principles or the underlying tenets of the industry that you wanted to work in?
That what I wanted to do rhymes with
the principles of the industry you wanted to work in?
Yeah, I can say yes.
Yes, I would agree with you, because really, it's when you mentioned that you believed in this person. Banking is about trust.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the line we lost this thing, didn't we? Because if we understand how we relate to banking now, the only other time we seem to have revived it, we keep going to the Kibaki era, where the element of trust in banking again was revived. The conversations that banking institutions had with their number one supporter, who is the client, also came into being.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to look at banking now, and look at the interests that brought you into the industry, what would you say we need to do in a country where the huge portion of our population is actually young? What would we need to do in order to have this industry help these people? Because given their numbers, if the industry can time and rhyme and chime with these people, then this development we keep talking about will actually not leapfrog, it will actually fly, because these people are many. And many of them lack the very services that the industry you work in offers. What would you say ought to be considered, or what needs to be done?
I think one word: empathy.
Okay.
Empathy. You see, what happens is that a lot of people You know, we all struggle sometimes. I see it a lot, especially in the political field. People struggle in the upcountry or wherever you are, but once you actually make it, you forget that there's somebody else who is actually just going through the same paces. They're going through the same paces that we go through. And one of the things we've been working as a team at HF is to see how do we actually empathize with our clients. Yeah, clients, people are going through very difficult times. We have just come from COVID, and you know, and how do we really walk that journey with people and understand them and feel what they put ourselves in their shoes. And also there is an element that I believe in, which is that issue of trust, that we have to really trust people. Of course, in banking, we trust and verify, but we also have to really go out of our way. But there are techniques now you can use to be able to extend trust. We call it in banking boundary testing. Boundary testing means I'm going to give 2,000 youths an opportunity and test. And test. And having learned something from there, then I can decide what else to do after that. And over time, you actually find that you are covering large populations with services that you traditionally didn't work on. Like now, for instance, we've just lent money to some Juakali people who are in affordable housing. Nobody would lend to Juakali people. We have even given them money for housing, for their own homes.
Or to purchase the houses.
Yeah. And I realized these people are building windows and houses, windows and doors and all this. People wouldn't trust them, but actually they are the most trustworthy. They have paid all the monies that we have lent to them.
They are actually paying
yeah.
the time.
We just decided to test. Yeah. If they prove us wrong, that's fine.
What is that term used again? Test what again?
Boundary testing. Now, if you are lending to this group of people, but there is this whole population that you are not lending to or supporting, you can take populations within that group that is excluded, and test. And once you find that there is a certain consistency, a certain behavior, then and like this Juakali people have talked about, then you can now in research we call it generalized. Now from there you can now
go to a larger population.
Go to a larger population.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the young people. I'm going back to the youth issue.
Yeah.
Some have finished college, some are in the process. It's their numbers that I find fascinating.
Yeah.
If you have these people as clients at this stage, and there are many, I'm just trying to think, how successful would that particular institution be? Just the
Very
numbers
successful.
alone.
Very successful. Very successful. In fact, that's the reason why we are succeeding.
Oh.
That's exactly the reason why we're succeeding. We are looking for opportunities that everyone else just ignores. And finding nuggets or opportunities that whole populations that people don't bank. But of course we are bankers, so we have got to manage risk because we take care of depositors' funds. But there are ways of doing that now.
Talking about young people, what about old people?
Old people require just support. I think a lot of older people know what they want to do.
They do.
They require support. And at every stage in everybody's life cycle, there is what you need to do. Older people need to be helped to consolidate their assets, to deleverage, from loans, and now to start getting what we call fixed passive income, like rental income, so that as they now get into retirement, they have some safety net that they can rely on. So that journey is a journey we are also working with that, because we also have a sizable number of.
Do many see that the way you're seeing it? Like, I get to a certain stage where now I start consolidating. I get to a certain stage where I start now decoupling and winding up my loans. I get to a certain stage where I start saying more passive income is coming in. And from your experience, are there many people who actually think and work like that?
What I've seen is that people generally require support. Let me give you an example. So for instance, if you've been a doctor all your life, you haven't spent a lot of time thinking about finances and that whole financial area. And what banks then, institutions like us, and this is what we do, is to become advisors, trusted advisors, and advise people that this is where you are. So if somebody comes to me, and many people come to me for this, I will tell them, at this stage of your life, this is what I believe you should be working on, and this is why. And this is the reason why. So you find people, like, as you get older, that whole thing of taking very risky decisions, if things go wrong, you don't have time to recover. Yeah, so there is at some point where your risk profile also needs to be adjusted. So at every stage in somebody's life, I believe, whether you are starting career, there are things that you need to do from an investment perspective, and as you go older, there are things that you need to do to just ensure that you can sustain your life beyond that working time.
So, but it goes with trust. Okay?
Yeah.
From the very many people who have bank accounts, who have conversations with bankers all the time, how many actually listen to what the bank person is telling them and trust? Because there's always these conversations. You know what? We have this new product which we think it could be very good for you, especially this one's for education, or this one we are thinking, this one has an investment overseas. This one we put in money here, it can grow for you. This one, it always sounds like it's a sales pitch.
Yeah, so bankers also really have to win the trust of the clients. How many have that
conversion?
Yeah, bankers obviously have to win the trust of the clients first, but also those who listen, those who actually listen. You see, from where we sit, we see very hugely successful people, and also we see
hugely unsuccessful people.
Yeah, we also see that. Yeah. So if actually somebody who is sitting in that position advises you, then at the very least listen. Yeah.
How do you straddle between what must happen at the bank, like you say, we are bankers?
Yes.
What must happen in terms of risk, in terms of making sure that the lines are neat?
Yeah.
And also having the empathetic view, which you talk about, which is necessary to have. When somebody comes to you and says, look, Robert, here it is. All my cards are on the table. If I had a mess up here, I have this. How do you straddle both? Because obviously from your personal experiences, you've told us, you need to have that understanding mind. But at the same time, you have the very clear lines that need to be drawn as a bank.
Yeah, so one of the things I've seen as bankers, and this is something that we are teaching our bankers where I work, is we have to be, people are human beings first. People are human beings. When people walk through our door as customers, they are actually human beings first, and they are actually a package. Yeah, everyone who walks into your life is actually a package. They have got very good sides, but there are some good areas that can improve. So what we do, it's a balance. We try to work. You know what God told Moses? What do you have in your hand? We try to work with
what you have,
what the person actually has, and then we work out a solution that then does. In fact, right now there is a concept called mass personalization, where you've got large numbers of customers, but you try as best as possible to create something that is unique to that particular client. But to answer your question directly, it's a balance, because you don't want to lose money. There is also a lot of dishonest people in the market, but at the same time, you also want to be empathetic and actually have impact. Actually have impact, and it's a balance. But it's possible to strike the balance.
You see that?
It's possible.
What? Okay, it's 27 minutes to 8. Kenya's biggest conversation is hosting Robert Kibara. He's the Group CEO of HF Group. I have to say it slowly.
Well done.
I've done it, huh? Yes. And we are talking about, it's basically just getting to learn from a man 30 years in the sector, and this is what he wanted to do from the age of 12. So he doesn't just do it because it's a job to do. He does it because
what I can do for
passion.
free.
Yes. And he's doing it now for free, just giving us all this advice. How do you actually create wealth? How do you grow that wealth? And how do you make it work for you? Throughout your life cycle, whether you are just starting out as a 16, 17-year-old and you've just started your first hustle and you're being paid to do 2K, 5K, or you are 59 years old and retirement is next year, or you are past retirement age and you work at SpiceFM. What do you do?
Okay.
And we'll be back. Keep it here for that.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Hi everyone, You may have heard about the official Study in Ireland fair happening next month on November 9th. Can you tell us what the students can expect?
Dublin City University is Ireland's university for transformation and enterprise. We currently offer over 60 undergraduate programs and over 40 master's programs. 96% of our graduates are in further employment or further studies within 6 months of graduation. If this sounds interesting to you, please join me to learn more about how you can strengthen your future at DCU. Looking forward to seeing you there.
That sounds fantastic. So everyone make sure to visit the official Study in Ireland fair at the Gallant Mall, Parklands on November 9th. Make sure to register by visiting www.cradle.com or call 0799 000 444.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your
Cloudy
day.
conditions in Nairobi, 16 degrees. We'll see highs of 24 and lows of 15. Lows of 15 as well in a mostly cloudy Nakuru. And at 16, it's sunny in Nyeri with highs of 23. 24 will be the high in a partly sunny Eldoret and lows of 14. It's partly sunny at 27 in Mombasa with highs of 32 and highs of 31 in a partly sunny Malindi at 27. Kisumu at 19 is sunny, highs of 30, and we'll see highs of 29 in a sunny Kakamega at 16. Mostly cloudy at 19 in Kampala with highs of 27, while Dar es Salaam is sunny at 25. We'll see highs of 30, and Johannesburg at 16 is sunny, going to highs of 30 and lows of 13. Mogadishu at 28 is sunny with highs of 32, while Addis Ababa at 13 is sunny. We'll see highs of 22 and lows of 10. Lagos is clear at 25 with highs of 32, and we'll see highs of 32 as well. In a mostly cloudy Kinshasa at 23.
Spice up your life.
We are in traffic hour this morning. Taking a quick look at what's going on. The Thika Superhighway still quite some traffic coming in from Garden City, not bumper to bumper until you get past Survey, where your service lanes come to an end, all the way through towards the junction between Muranga Road and Wangari Maathai Way. So that's busy. Also now seeing some traffic building up on Gong Road, coming in from Naivasha Road. Then going through towards Gitanga Road, through Kingara Road. James Gishuru now has some traffic as you then approach the Red Hill Link Road. That is busy. Inbound on the Red Hill Link Road, also some traffic as well. So we're getting traffic hour, teetering into it. Let's see what happens as we do. Southern Bypass looks good. There's your scenic route into the city. But we're still looking at traffic on the Eastern Bypass coming through towards North Airport Road. That's very busy. On Mombasa Road, you're going to take that diversion towards the ICD because of the construction. And it still continues for some time. Shall we talk? Let's do it. SpiceFM, KE on X. Hashtag the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
We'll continue talking about money and how to make and grow your wealth and how to keep your wealth. Let's also talk about how to prepare for your retirement. Taifa Pension Fund say, all right, talk to us, because we can take the Tier 2 pension contributions. You know, pension is now, according to the NSSF Act, Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 definitely goes to NSSF. Tier 2, you can choose to take it to NSSF or to a pension fund scheme of your choice. Taifa Pension Fund says, Tier 2, bring it. We are regulated by the Retirement Benefits Authority. Our guest, Robert Kibara, Group CEO of HF Group, is still here with us. And so let's start from the very beginning, right? Somebody is young, straight out of college, straight out of school. They've started making some money, whether they're employed or they're running a small hustle and a small business. And at this point, there's so much life ahead of them. What is it that they should think of that's important? If you were to actually sit down with such young men and women and you had them in a room, what would you tell them?
So at that early age, it's important to build what I can say financial behaviors and also financial momentum in a very small way, because at that time you don't have a lot of money. But those are the things, those early habits, actually not behaviors, actually habits, are the ones that carry you through life. If you are happy-go-lucky at that age, over time, then it becomes very difficult. The financial decisions that people make at that stage make it very difficult to change over time. And so, building financial discipline, and it means just starting off with a little bit of savings. You will not have a lot of money. The best way, 2 cardinal rules of saving is, number 1, you need to automate savings. Automate savings means that you save money before you receive it. Even just as anything as basic as standing order. In fact, like at HF, we have a product called Target Save, where you just set it up and it just automates. It's an automated savings. Because that saving is not even about the money. It's about that once you start that discipline, it grows with you over a period of time. Then also at that age time, you're also looking to build your ability to earn. Whether you are starting a business, whether you're just coming from school, you need to build ability to earn, because ability to earn determines also what kind of investments or what financial life you're going to have. And the ways to improve it, obviously, is like building knowledge. At that time, early age, starting to build networks. Sometimes the opportunity you're going to get does not come from what you know, it comes from who you know. So that helps, that building that network helps. Getting early mentors, for instance, myself, I have had really good mentors over time. Getting mentors at that early age. But also, I think there is a lot of pressure with young people. You know, so-and-so has bought a Subaru, so I need to have one. And just understanding the difference between appreciating assets and liabilities. Yeah. You
know which is which.
Know which is which. An appreciating asset puts money into your pocket. Even if it's just savings, that interest. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. One of those is a car. I'm not saying we don't buy cars. I'm just saying from day one, it's bleeding you. So I think at that early age, it's just to build momentum. And that as you go older now in your late 20s and 30s and 40s, that is actually the prime earning age. But the challenge with that is really when now your the costs come in. Children have come, parents are aging, you need to get a place for your family, the family expanding, you need a couple more space for a couple additional people. So the pressure is actually there. But what you have built up really sustains you, and that's where you now start doing a little bit more sophisticated investments. Like for instance, you can try out with the stocks or even in real estate, and just start building a portfolio of investments. There are also quite products in banking that have got very good returns. We have, for instance, a product called Fanaka account that has interest rates of up to 16%. Fanaka savings account. That can give return. Now, the earlier you start doing things, you make use of one of the most powerful investment tools, and that is time. People underestimate the power of compound growth of investments. That if you start at 20 and invest 1,000 shillings a month, by the time you are 50, because of that compounded effect, it is actually a lot of money. But most people start now realizing things when they are out a little bit older, where there is no runway left, you know. But for me, I'm just lucky that I got to know a lot of things around investments very early in life. And so when I started off in career, I started investing then. Immediately. I started investing from the word go. And so like properties we used to buy for 35,000 are worth millions now. 30 years ago are worth millions today. So my point is, and then also there is always, you always have to think about peer pressure. For me, I run my own race. I run my own race. I congratulate my friends when they have got this and that.
Yes.
But I don't get into any pressure at all.
How do you do that? Because I think that is probably, you know how you talk about the one most valuable element that you have in this is time.
Yeah.
But then I also look at that and I think about the one thing that could cause the detriment of many is this peer pressure that you talk about. Yeah. So how do you say, okay, well, my house, my whomever, my friend has just built a fancy house in up country or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel the same pressure to do the same thing because, when my people come to visit, what? How do you disassociate yourself from that to then be able to run your own race?
It's actually not easy. But if there's one battle that can be won by either the young or even middle age, as people get older, that thing is not there. I think it's that you just know that you are actually always on your own, that you are running your own race, that the set of circumstances you have in your life are very different from the set of circumstances somebody else has. There are people who are taking care of their parents, for instance. There are people people have different circumstances in their life. When I see somebody doing something great, I am actually very happy for them. But for me, genuinely happy for them. And I will support them. If they come to the bank and they need assistance, I'll support them to do that. But for me, I run my race. Whether in career, in life. So I get a lot of pressure, for instance, these days that I need to change my car, and I will not. It moves, it's good, it works.
Robert,
I will do it when I want, when I feel that's the time. Yeah. So I think that's what I can say. But there are lots of ways of building wealth. But the most important one is just, first of all, starting, building momentum, and at any one stage, as you get older, for instance, now, then you start now cutting back on risk, as I said earlier. You start cutting back on risk.
Take more risks when you're
younger.
Take
more risk when you are younger. And there are also tools, for instance, in insurance that people ignore that make a very big difference. Yeah, investing, for instance, in insurance products that become help you later. Let me give you examples of two. Number one, if you are, for instance, approaching 50, you can start taking a medical insurance for after you have retired.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. You can take a medical insurance that will kick in after you have retired. If you need to have a conversation about that, we have our business HFBI insurance agency and HFBI insurance intermediary.
No, I want to talk to the boss.
And we can have a conversation about that. You can take insurance so that because your biggest bill when you are older is medical. So that product does help. Or even earlier on, you're starting career. Products like full school fee solutions or even just pure savings through insurance solutions, we can offer that as well. But those also do help. There is a role for insurance as well that Kenyans don't really appreciate.
Yeah, there's a lot there, especially when it comes to insurance. There's a lot of lack of information.
Yes,
right.
There's a lot of
and people just don't really see what these products are all about. Especially when you start talking about long term.
Yes.
Oh, you put in money now, and then this is a 10-year plan, and you're thinking 10-year what? 10-year what? Oh, and this one, it has a life component in it. So in the event of death, and you're thinking, boss,
I'm not gonna die.
I've just started life. Death,
Yeah.
And I think there's need for more and more awareness on this. The other thing I want to ask, Robert, is even the last time you were here, I asked you. Throughout the many years, one is bound to come across very many people who are all advisors.
Yes.
And all financial advisors.
Yeah.
You have a bank account in a certain bank, and there are people who are advising you.
Yeah.
You have maybe another bank account somewhere, there's somebody else there who's advising. There's an insurance person who's coming and giving you advice. There are other people who offer financial advice. There's a lot of content now online, for example. People who are offering financial advice on this and the other and talking about their own journey, and there's this new product that they came across. How would one tell which one to go for?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. And of course, even the people who sell land and the scammers come as advisors.
All same.
At the end, and lose money. I think track record. Track record makes a very big difference. I'll just give you an example. Us, I always like to talk about us because I know us more than any other place. We've been here since 1965.
As HF.
We've helped thousands of people acquire homes. We are now helping many people in their businesses, in their personal life, diaspora institutions, and we'll be here for the next 100. And so we have built that reputation that it's not just about business. We also truly actually care for the needs of people. But to answer the question also is look at the motive as well. Just answer. This person who is advising you, what's their motive?
Yeah, what do they want?
What's their motive? Yeah. And if somebody advises you about something that doesn't even necessarily benefit them, a couple of weeks ago, somebody came and told me they want to take a loan for something, and I told him, no, we can't. I know we can give you this loan, but we will not give you this loan because this is not what you need. I would earn from you a lot of money, but this is not what you need. What you require is this other route. If somebody advises you for in ways that don't necessarily benefit them, but they have your best interest at heart, you will begin to tell. Also, crooks typically push you. It will typically push you. You will see the red flags.
Make a decision fast.
Yeah. It's more. In fact, this deal is ending tonight. You know. Midnight tonight, you're gonna lose out. So, in panic, people just put in their money. So, my point is, you can tell. You can tell. But also, the biggest challenge that people have is greed. Greed is, you really have to taper down greed. Your own greed.
That's what makes you sign up for the
Because that's what makes you sign up for scams, yeah.
I mean, someone comes and tells me this thing is a 24% interest.
Yes.
And it's guaranteed to You jump on it.
You jump on it.
I'm thinking at HF, Robert was telling me about their Fanaka, which is up to 16%. Is it?
Yes, 16%, up to 16%.
And then this
but that's per year, 16% per annum. And these are the guys tell you per month.
This one is telling me 24% like
per month. It's a scam.
Even when you look at the habits that people have acquired over time, and that people now, it's interesting because we're having this conversation when it's coming to the end of the year, and there's a lot of realization of things that you have or have not done.
Yeah.
And when it then comes to finances, I mean, look at the things that people speak about. Here, debt, lack of investment, lack of savings, lack of a plan, and you're still expected to survive somehow on limited resources. How would you advise getting into some of these things? Whittle down on your debt, start to ramp up on investments, start to make sure that you have some savings, even when the resources are limited, and have a plan. I mean, it just seems like, my goodness, so much that needs to be done with very little. How do folks get into that?
I think if you think about money, usually expenses rise to meet the money you have. Expenses will rise to meet the money you have. And when people actually say living within means, that you need to live within means, it's not as easy to do as people think, because money also has a way of just almost pinching you to spend it.
It guides you.
It guides you, yeah. It guides you and gives you confidence to be able to do things that you can't do. But honestly, the person who actually conquers that, and you are able to live within what you earn as best as you can, with no pressure to do anything more than that, eventually. Because you choose your hustle. You blow up your money in your youth. As you get older, you don't have any resources, and then you suffer for the rest of your life. Or develop some discipline earlier on, accumulate some sort of safety net, and then from there, over time, then you'll actually have a lot easier life. And we talked about compounded effect.
Yeah.
So I always like to say, it's just good to go. I am a banker. I should advise people to go take debts. But I actually advise people to take debt only if you need it. And if you are converting that debt into an earning asset. Otherwise, now you have a debt that is moving money from your pocket, and you also have an asset that is removing money from your pocket. It's a double.
I took a loan to buy a car.
It's a double hit. Yeah.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
The institution that you had.
Yes.
What CSRs are you involved in?
Okay, we've done actually a lot. Let me give you an example. We have trained 4,000 people. We've been having projects, construction projects. So we have this initiative called TVET on Wheels. So in the evening, your people at the Mujengo, they are finished work, young people, they have learned, it's a fundi who has learned from a fundi, who has learned from a fundi, who has learned from, we've never been to any formal school. So we set up a tent and a teacher and a projector and teach those same people who are in that Mujengo on how to become a good mason, or how to become a good plumber, on how to become a good... And we train about 4,000 people. We've got obviously many other initiatives that we are doing. And with our new business model now, we are working now to, not just CSR, we are working on what is called capacity building, especially for businesses that are coming up. So, like for instance, we are partnering with the Standard Group University. We just ran a program for 400 women entrepreneurs. To just to work with them on how they can become better business people, whether it is on the different facets of running a business. At Standard University, we just did it not long ago. And we do these things to just capacity build the capacity of people based on the knowledge we know, or sometimes we just hire people to come in and train our clients on how to become the best of who they are. We also train, for instance, the older people on succession planning and things like that. Succession planning on the... Yeah, I mean, in Kenya or in Africa, we don't like talking about these things, but they are real.
I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
Do you have a program with schools?
We focus, actually, one of our key focus areas is schools, and I'll tell you how we do that. So, we have got a program where we call it In My Shoes. In My Shoes. So we have got students who come, spend the day with me, or they spend the day with colleagues, and get to understand how it is like to work in a banking environment.
Trying to recruit young Roberts.
Yeah, trying to recruit. Yeah.
I love the idea. Where I am going with my question is this.
Yes.
Look at the time.
Yeah.
The future of this country,
yes,
depends very much on how it is. We have a generation of people who actually understand how to manage money.
Yeah.
How to save.
Yes.
If I look at the developed countries who have money, they also have a saving culture, a serious one. The Asian.
Yeah.
Now, the best time to get people to understand it is even before they
That's actually a very good point, yeah.
So that the moment money comes to them, even if they are not formally employed, they understand that some must be kept aside.
Yes.
If this culture is inculcated at a very early age, you'll have an entire generation of people who understand the benefits and the need to save.
That's true.
Comes in a second nature.
You don't even think twice. Our nature is to spend. You inverse it when you inculcate it when people are young. So everything else now that goes with managing money will become, as Eric puts it, second nature. There is no banking institution that does it. They have accounts and they call it fancy names for children. That's not what I'm talking about.
Not a piggy bank.
I think we can do. I think, to be quite honest, we can do a lot more as a banking industry and even ourselves to teach. We have do programs with school, but I think we need to intensify. You are right. If people get to learn these things a lot earlier, then they can they can benefit a lot, and we can build a culture.
Yes,
within the country.
And you can see a 5-year movement. 10-year, by the time they get to university, after you can see it. And remember, they don't have to have a job to be able to save. No. Any money that comes to you, you immediately think
of it as an income.
It's an income, and you treat it as such.
Yeah. And you build the habits.
Yes, you do.
You build the habits, that is true.
As Kenya Bankers Association, actually, as an industry,
that is something to think about. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn from you, Robert. And let's just say we start this series. You know, it's a financial literacy series with Robert Kibara from HF Group. You know, today we've talked about how to now start building your wealth. We have to talk about how to grow it. All right? Because we didn't touch how to grow it. We just started on how do you actually now start that habit of getting into the discipline of putting it in there. So how do we even notice that it's there? How do we nurture it?
We can talk about that.
We talk about that next time you come. Right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Asante sana.
All right.
This is Kenya's biggest conversation. It's the Situation Room. We've had Robert Kibara, who's the Group CEO, HF Group. And HF Group, we know they have very many things that they're doing. Okay, they have been in the mortgage industry for many years. They are now also going into bank assurance, you told us the last time. You have other products that you have launched, and you're launching many things.
And the rights issue.
And we didn't talk about the rights issue, actually. The other day, you closed your books for the rights issue. Now all the shareholders have an opportunity to participate in the rights issue. What's that about? What do you want the money for?
HF Group is a very fast-growing company. We have diversified into a full-service bank on the banking side, and on the property side, we have got exciting solutions for our clients. All our three businesses are on their third year of growth, massive growth in profitability. Our shareholders have come together and said, if we invested in this business, we can accelerate growth. And so we have started this rights issue. It's starting next week, 13th. And you have a chance to own a part of this fast-growing, exciting business. So it is available for our shareholders. The price is at 4 shillings a share. We are inviting all our shareholders to participate. All our major shareholders have confirmed that they are going to be participating in the rights issue. And for those who don't have shares with us, they will also have a chance to buy rights to participate in the shares, and you can talk to your stockbroker about how you can participate. It's an exciting time for me. From where I see it, this company is going to become a very big company.
Very good. It ought to be. Thank you very much, Robert. See you next time.
Thank you.
It's 8 a.m. Time for the news.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. Early results from the ongoing vote count in the U.S. elections has placed former President Donald Trump in the lead with 230 electoral college votes per the Associated Press, having garnered 51% of the votes counted. Kamala Harris follows closely with 187 votes as both candidates race to garner the 270 votes required to take the White House. The race has remained tight in key battleground states where results are too close to call and the ultimate winner likely to be announced beyond the election night. Trump is leading in the swing states of Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania and Arizona, while Harris is ahead in Michigan. Both candidates are reported to be closely monitoring the results. Harris' campaign team is stationed at Howard University in Washington, D.C., while Trump has set up a watch party at the Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. Meanwhile, Republican Party is one seat away from gaining control of the Senate. The party has 50 seats against 39 for the Democrats and one independent seat. Here are some of the winners from the Republican side.
Who couldn't be here. So, and guess what? We won Miami-Dade. So I think we won every constitutional officer down there. We have a new sheriff, Rosie. It's unbelievable what happened. Together, this is a team event. Together we get to celebrate a great victory tonight. There's a lot of people to thank. There's a lot of people that knocked on doors, made phone calls, did text. We had a lot of people just busted their butts. And everyone
for everything else that followed. Most people didn't think that made sense either. But had we not done that, I'm almost certain we wouldn't be here this evening. Yeah.
My parents and my sister are here, who gave me the grounding in service and purpose that powers me every day. To my wife, Cammie. Cammie, look what we've accomplished. Look what we've done. For them, right? I'm just so proud of our family and what we've been able to do, our humble family.
We'll keep you posted on the elections that are currently ongoing at the U.S. President William Ruto will jet to South Sudan today for a one-day official meeting with President Salva Kiir. South Sudan Presidential Press Secretary Lily Martin Maniel announced on Tuesday that the two presidents will meet to discuss the achievements of the Tumaini Initiative. Now, Tumaini Peace Initiative, which was launched on May 2024 in Nairobi, is a high-level mediation for the conflict in South Sudan. It incorporates all the holdout groups that have not signed the 2018 RARCSS That is the revitalized agreement on resolution of the conflict in South Sudan. Ruto Kir and the former Kenyan Army commander and chief mediator, Major Gen Lazarus Sumbeyo, are the lead mediators. And the education sector is staring at a looming crisis if over 16,000 classrooms pledged by the government are not completed by January to allow for grade 9 transition. The Kenya Primary School Heads Association chairperson Johnson Zioka says the government needs to work around the clock and deliver the classrooms in a record less than 60 days to avoid burdening the already congested primary public schools.
In some areas, the grade 8s are already congested. They have big numbers in one room. So we wouldn't like to have the same big numbers in grade 9. The budget which is set aside for construction of classrooms should be reviewed upward because we believe and because we have been on the ground.
That's the news wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
The man who looks at a beautiful girl and doesn't talk to her will end up serving lunch at her wedding.
Aye, City. Do you like that?
My father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man?
Ameua panya.
Small mammal, big mammal.
Mtu atamshinda.
I mean, I don't know.
What are they
How
saying?
are we comparison? I mean, you kill a mouse.
What are they saying?
What they're saying is, my father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man? Name, surprise. Someone's name.
The name surprised you?
No, the name is surprise.
No, what am I saying? I'm from Nigeria, man. I met somebody called I Believe. So
See?
Your name is I Believe? Yes, my name is I Believe. But that's the short form. I said, excuse me? I said, yes, my name is I Believe. So what's the full name? I believe in the goodness of the
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
A few minutes after 7 o'clock, traffic is busy in the city this morning. We're looking at it coming in strong on the Thika Superhighway and then in through towards the CBD. It's also busy on the Eastern Bypass. It's heading out towards North Airport Road. And then let's look at Mombasa Road, where you're going to have to go through ICD for a while and then join with Mombasa Road later after that. Outer Ring also extremely busy. Let's take a look at what's coming off of Magadi Road, heading out towards Langata Road. We'll have some busyness with that as you come through Huru Gardens and then out towards the Nyeri Stadium roundabout. That's busy. All right. Also, Gitanga Road, which is all coming off of Kingara Road and then through towards James Gishuru, is busy, very busy coming off of Mzima Springs, out towards Wayaki Way. The Red Hill Link Road in towards Wayaki Way and then out towards Westlands, also busy. We are in traffic hour. Kitisuru coming in from Thigiri Ridge. And also many parts of Limuru Road also very busy as well. Let's take a look at what it'll look like as we come through towards the end of traffic hour. We'll talk on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
You tune into Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Ramanya.
Amen. Amen.
So 1 hour is over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It gets over
Can you imagine
in 20 minutes.
what the big boys have also done?
I'm very proud of myself.
When you understand about partnership in politics, it's like the way marriage is these days. When you're looking for a wife, you're like, oh, you know, maybe you can help me pay for fees as I pay for the rent.
Why should you have a lioness living in your bedroom?
I have to tell you a story. I went for a prayer meeting, which was called for the spouses of candidates for senators and governors. And when I got to the gate, the lady who was the secretary, she refused to. She's telling me, no. Leo tunataka wa mama. Leo ni wa mama. I'm telling her, no. She said, no, sio siku yenu. And I thought, there's a problem here, because if it was a man, but this was a lady.
It will be called First Ladies until you change the name.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Yes, welcome to the third hour of Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room, broadcasting from Nairobi to the world, to Africa, to East Africa, West Africa, North Africa, the Sahel, Central Africa, and then outside of the continent, to the islands of Africa. Yes. Outside of the continent, to all other parts of the world, including America. They're following this show, so please give them an update. How's their vote going? So
what they're doing, we're looking at the road to 270, are we not? And if we're looking at what's going red, 230, and what's going blue, 182. There are folks who are calling it already. Many are still saying it's still early, early in the game. But it would look as though with 51% going to Trump, 47% is going to Harris. But this is just in the state of Wisconsin that we're looking at now, going to the state of Arizona and looking at some of the swing state votes that are already in, Georgia being one of them, Pennsylvania being another. What you thought might be a little bit iffy here and there with Florida, that was called a long time ago. And it looks as though for now, most of the US is going red.
Yep. So Trump is at what number for the Electoral College votes? So
going towards the Electoral College votes, Trump is at 230 and Harris is at 180.
For the popular vote, Trump is at 61.2 million, while Kamala is at 56.8 million. So it's basically looking like popular vote, Trump, college votes, Trump. So far. Yeah, it's the road to 230. Many things that are happening. There's a projection of Trump again taking North Carolina, and so on and so forth. And we're just looking at the projections here, published by CNN. We're just looking at the projections by various people, right? Yeah, we'll keep looking at that update as the day progresses. It's early days, but maybe not so early. City, it's early days for you to talk about Tala?
Not really.
Okay.
It is an appropriate time for me to talk about Tala.
Tell us about it.
Well,
well done.
It flows.
Yes, it does. Speak in rhyme all the time. Think of the word emergency and think of the word convenience and put them together. That would actually adequately describe Tala. Emergencies don't give you an advance warning. That is the problem with them. And every once in a while, you find yourself in a rather sticky situation where you need money and you need it urgently. And sometimes you actually don't need money urgently, but you need to plan for the money that you have. Now, there are many people who offer these solutions and they offer to be a partner. But in the fintech space, there are many who offer these services, but a lot of what they do have nothing to do with oversight or control. Tala is registered by the Data Corporation of Kenya. They are regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. So the services they offer are regulated. And the promises they make are promises they must keep. That's what regulation is all about. If you haven't, as it is, downloaded a Tala app, do so. And everything that I'm saying now and more will not only become apparent, but it's something that you'll be able to act on and to live by. Yes.
Kabisa. When you live like that, you live joyfully.
Yes, indeed. So, Kenya's #1 private bank won the award for that. And so you wonder, how does that work? Well, it looks like how you can live, joyfully. Many things that can happen with Stanbic. Thinking about the MasterCard Golf program. Are you a golfer? Because you can get involved in that. 24/7 concierge. Enjoy all the access to VIP experiences. That's through the bank, dinner reservations, travel plans, all of these wonderful things happening. Travel benefits, breeze through airports with fast-tracked services, lounge access, seamless travel experiences, the MasterCard booking platform, educational discounts, show, max and global connectivity, global data roaming, arts and culture. All of this you can have access to because you decided to bank with Stanbic, Kenya's number one what? Private bank.
Very good. Let's have a conversation about West Africa, and this is about justice in West Africa. This is from the Republic of Liberia. We are honored to host the Chief Justice of that country. Now, that name again. Let's just first of all spell it. Her Honor, SIE-A-NYENE.
Exactly.
And then the other one is GYAPAY. That's one name. The other one is Youth Without a T.
Never heard it put that way.
Gio. Siayene Gio.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
That's so you got it.
We're impressed.
My friends.
I guess he's phonetically inclined.
Your Honor, can you tell them?
Please, sorry.
They don't get it. Now, the second one I cannot pronounce.
The back end.
Your Honor, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me this morning.
I don't know whether you knew this, but the person who accompanied you to the studio is actually royalty.
Well, she didn't say that.
Yes, she is.
She's a relative and not royalty.
Thank you.
She is royalty. She's Her Royal Highness.
Hey,
so the name?
Chinyere Mugo.
Yes.
Ezekubundu.
Yeah, Ezekubundu.
Hey, Chinyere Mugo.
Yes, exactly.
Okoh.
Yes.
Yes. Your Royal Highness, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
It's good.
Please, all this big title.
Yeah.
Ugo. Simply Ugo.
What does Ugo mean?
Ugo means honor.
Very good.
See that?
See?
Yes.
See?
Exactly.
Your Honor, what does your name mean?
Well, I always explain this when it's tough. You have to understand how to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are from the area in Liberia where my late father is from, that is Maryland County, from the Grebo tribe. Now, Sie, that first, those first few letters, S-I-E. Sie in the Grebo dialect means man or husband. Now, A is just like some connectivity there, but Yine, the last part, N-Y-E-N-E, means woman. So but they've combined. My name is the woman of man or man's wife. Yeah.
We're in the presence of a woman man.
Yeah.
How about the other name?
Woman.
And the other one which has so many G-Y-A-P-A-Y, but you pronounce it as G.
Jape. Jape is also Gribble. That was my father's nickname. It's like a play, name or a fun name, a name of, care and love. Yeah.
Hey. Nice one. So, this is our sister Ndu's sister. Yeah. Chinyere Mugo Okoh.
Chinyere Mugo Okoh.
That's it. We know what Ezekubundu means. What does Chinyere mean?
Chinyere Mugo means God has given me honor. Yeah. So Ugo at the end, as I said earlier, means honor.
Honor. Chinyere Mugo Okoh. So she is the country manager for IDLO Liberia country office. And thank you very much, ladies, for joining us today. Let's talk about justice in Liberia, post-conflict and into transition, and the role of the judiciary. CT will welcome you with the day's proverb. The proverbs this week. So every week, CT goes to one African country, and he either chops up or mines or harvests proverbs from that country. Whatever the case may be. This time, he's in a country where he's mining proverbs, and this is
DRC.
Very good.
Okay. République démocratique du Congo. Yes. Maize grows for those who do not have teeth.
Maize grows for those who do not have teeth.
Wow.
Your Honor, what do you think this proverb is saying? What's your interpretation? Wildest thinking.
Oh, that's deep. Maize grows for those who do not have teeth.
Yes.
Now, I would never want to put myself in the place of a maize, and being soft, quick to seep out. And because I'm more of a standing person and an assertive person and very meticulous, and to be without teeth, I'll never want to be in that position, because I want to have teeth, and for the profession I have chosen and even the position I'm in right now, I need teeth to be sure of that. I do need teeth, and I must be able not to only have teeth, but the teeth must be so strong to bite anything that comes my way, and maize will just not be part of it. It will definitely not be part of it.
Yes.
Thank
What's
you
your
very much. You reconstructed
That's a good one.
the proverb completely. Thank you. Excellent.
Okoh, what's your interpretation?
I don't know. When you read it, I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, now how is someone supposed to chew that maize if they don't have teeth? But then my mind also went to the other part that, the maize grows regardless of whether you have teeth or not. And some maize is hard, some maize is soft. You might be able to chew it regardless of what your dental formation looks like. Right. But honestly, I'm not sure. This one has thrown me.
How do you apply what you've just said to real life?
I don't know. I think sometimes you have what you need, or it might be right under your nose. You might not have the capability to do a particular thing. You reach out to the next person. That's why I think, who will chew the maize for you? It might be the person right next to you. You might not be able to do it because you don't have teeth. But the person right next to you has teeth and more and can help you.
In too much of a vulnerable situation. A maze. It makes things so easy, and you're not even sure of yourself. For me, it puts you in a position of vulnerability, and for me, that's not me.
It's not an option.
No, it's not.
Your Honor, you are currently the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. How long have you been in this post, and how did you get into this post?
Thank you. Yes, I am the present Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia and administrative head of the judiciary branch of government. I was appointed to this position in 2022 when the then Chief Justice had to mandatorily retire. Our Constitution allows for justices and judges of courts to mandatorily retire at the age of 70. So that's what brought me in. I got into the judiciary actually in 2013 under the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and as an associate justice. So I've been there for practically 11 years now. Before then, I was in the practice of law for over 25 years. I worked, in fact, we were one of the founding members of the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia. That organization was birthed during our civil crisis. I served during that period also as Vice President of the Liberia National Bar Association. So this is where I've come from, and now I am here at the helm of the judiciary.
How is the judiciary in Liberia organized? For example, in Kenya, we start the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, we've got the magistracy, or we have alternative justice system. They're all part of the judiciary. How is it in Liberia?
In Liberia, beside all of those other administrative or other courts that you have, in Liberia, there's a three-tier structure. You have the Supreme Court, at the top as the court of last resort. And then you have what we call circuit courts and specialized courts like tax courts, juvenile, well, not juvenile per se, but commercial court, the labor court. Those are some of the specialized courts, and then the magisterial courts. So that is the sequence, and that is the structure of the court system in Liberia. The magisterial courts were previously courts of non-record. So everything was done there expeditiously. The decisions were written at the back of the writ, and then lately it was changed to them having court of limited records, because now the law has been amended that appeals from the magisterial court lie at an appellate of an appellate review at the circuit courts. So now you needed a little record more to have that appellate review by the circuit court.
What do you mean when we say that it's a court of no record?
Well, non-record, as I understood it was basically an expeditious hearing, because these are courts of first instance, and these were found in the districts of each county in Liberia, and this is where the citizens of that particular district, just when it could rain from someone stealing someone else's chicken or their clothes or their phone, and they went directly to these courts. So so you sat there, and the magistrate just listened to both sides and just maybe apply the law. But actually, the intent, if you read the legislative notes on the establishment of magisterial courts, then it was merely geared toward keeping the peace in those respective districts. So in terms of their jurisdiction, both by subject matter or over a person, they are limited. They are limited. Even when it comes to criminal cases, their jurisdiction is limited to their petty offenses. So at the time, it was just a matter, the legislative intent was just for them to keep the peace before going into the circuit courts, where records are actually made, because they can appeal from the magisterial court to the circuit court.
Chinyamlugo,
Yes, sir.
what is IDLO? And what is it that you're doing in Liberia?
Okay.
We know you're not from there.
She said she's from there.
IDLO is the International Development Law Organization. We are an intergovernmental organization that is headquartered in Rome, in Italy, and we work with governments in promoting the rule of law, access to justice as a means to sustainable development. So if you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, our focus is on SDG 16, which is about peace, justice, and strong institutions. So we work with governments and support them to strengthen institutions to deliver justice. I am the country manager for the country office in Liberia. So we work very closely with the government of Liberia, particularly the judiciary, Ministry of Justice, the Office of the Solicitor General, the Liberia National Police, but basically the rule of law and justice and security institutions that have a mandate for rule of law and justice service delivery. So IDLO has been in Liberia since 2016. We're hosted by the government. We have a host country agreement with the government, but we're just one of about 32 country offices around the world. IDLO has a country office here as well that has been here for several years. So in Liberia, we have a portfolio that works quite a bit on human trafficking and combating human trafficking in Liberia, but also in the Mano River Union in West Africa, which is Liberia, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire. And then we also have just completed a project on strengthening gender equality in law enforcement agencies. So we worked with several of the law enforcement institutions in the country to promote gender equality and mainstreaming gender in their work. So we continue to work with the judiciary. Her Honor and her team are one of our strong partners and have been since 2016. We do quite a lot of capacity development and support for the prosecution, for investigations, prosecution, and adjudication of a range of cases, and supporting the criminal justice chain as well. But the end goal is to improve justice service delivery with the government of Liberia.
How does a country get to work with you? Do you apply to work? Do you make a phone call, send an email? How does one, or do you send a WhatsApp message? How does one get to?
You need to know a guy.
You need to know a guy who knows a guy. Yes.
I think it's also the mandate. We are donor funded. And so it's also the interest of where IDLO feels that they can support the goals and the strategies of the government in justice service delivery. And IDLO has member parties, so countries can apply to become IDLO member parties. Liberia, for example, is one of them. We go where there's also donor interest and where the government as well has also asked the IDLO come in to partner with them in delivering justice programming.
So if someone doesn't show an interest and they're not members, you do not go to their countries?
Not necessarily. I think if there is a need that can be filled and IDLO has comparative advantage in meeting that need, then there'll be an interest in going there. But of course, you have to do the assessment to see if you're actually best placed.
Whether you're needed.
Exactly, because your presence there should be relevant and responsive to the needs on the ground. Yeah.
And sometimes the donors request.
Exactly.
To come.
Make a request.
Yeah, I know we're going to go to break in a bit, but Your Honor, just to look at Liberia and the judiciary, having worked, coming out of over a decade plus, plus more, out of a conflict situation. How has the judiciary developed from what you can see, coming from, the legal profession, still within the legal profession, of course, as now the highest judicial officer in the country, coming from post-conflict? How have you seen the development of the judiciary form to where it is today?
One of the issues, topics that we delved into at this conference yesterday was the demystification of the judiciary. And really, the judiciary is a mystery to so many of the population or countries. I don't care whether you're developing or developed country. The judiciary is the branch of government that most people do not know. And so most times it's just a hazard to get to know it. So when people even talk about post or pre, conflict era, you have to come from the point and how the judiciary is helping. You have to know first and foremost that the courts of any republic or any jurisdiction derive their jurisdiction from the law and nothing else. So even if you have a post or a pre-conflict, the courts can do no more or no less than to see whether or not they have jurisdiction either over the subject matter or the parties. So if you come from that aspect and you know this is what, because the court will not hear that someone was allegedly killed or allegedly raped and go and call for that matter to come before it. No, that is a crime. The prosecutorial arm of the government, in this case being the Ministry of Justice, has to go investigate, get an indictment or an arrest, and then formally place that case before the court. Now, so if we know that, we'll be able to, unless the legislature changes, or amend certain laws, with respect to the conflict of whatever is happening in that jurisdiction, the court cannot make laws. We will be seen as overstepping our bounds and going and usurping the jurisdiction of the legislature. So most people do not understand that the court is confined. And when you say the judiciary, it seems as though we are some political branch of government that also comes in to answer questions and make policies. No. We operate from the confines that the law has ascribed unto us, and we go from there. And the only thing that would be different is, given the time and whatnot, is our interpretation of specific laws as it relates to the facts and circumstances in a particular case. So if we want to delve into particulars, we have to look at certain cases that the Supreme Court, being the highest court and the last court of the land, that is Liberia, then we can look into it and see what has been done. For example, since the post, and a war or conflict era, there was this whole issue of the new government coming in and removing, arbitrarily removing those from the previous government. And the Supreme Court looked into the facts and circumstances, because we cannot take in evidence. So they come directly there, and we find out that, look, in essence, you signed a contract with these people for an exact number or for a period of time. And therefore, whether a new government come in, you can just break that contract without there being repercussion, etc. So we had this precedent, that if you want to remove this person because you are a new government, you have to stay within the contract. And if you are the one wanting to break it, you're the new government, then you have to compensate the person for the full period of the unexpired term of that contract. So we did that during when the WEA government came into power, and then we found ourselves confronted with the same issue, and courts we are based, our whole proceeding are based on precedent, and somehow the new government thought that we would have just, changed, because of them being new and whatever their manifesto was that won them the election. The courts are separate from those things there. And one of the things, because I delivered the opinion on behalf of the court, and one of our queries to the lawyers was that, as counselors of this high court, how would you ever think that the court will, especially the Supreme Court, would seem to be so unpredictable? Then we throw out precedent, then we may as well throw out everything, with regards an appellate court or any court for that matter. So we did the same opinion, said this is the precedent. If you don't want them, do this. We're not going to change. The court has to remain predictable.
You've delved into the area of judicial overreach, and I'm sure yesterday, when the Supreme Court of Kenya was celebrating its 12 years, one of the conversations that kept coming up was that judicial overreach and the role of the judiciary. We'll talk about that, but let's first take a break. At 22 minutes to 9, we are hosting the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. She's the President of the Supreme Court and head of the judiciary in Nigeria. Her Honor, Liberia. Her Honor, Sigei Jape Yo.
Hey, well done. Great job.
I got it, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes. She's here alongside the country manager for the IDLO Liberia country office, and her name is Her Royal Highness, the daughter of engineer and Mrs. Okoh, the sister to the Royal Highness Ndu Okoh, and her name is Chinyelumugo Okoh.
Correct.
Very good. Very good. City, please tell them about how quickly to register for this Saturday's official Study in Ireland Fair.
Yes, it is, and it will be at the Gallant Mall in Parklands, 9th of November 2024, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All you need to do to attend it is to register, because the registration is what will enable you to receive an invitation. When you receive an invitation, you will then have the privilege of having direct access to top universities in Ireland, discover Ireland's career opportunities, and where visas are concerned, you will get expert advice and guidance on visas.
How do you register?
Well, you go to, there are 3 W's, www.cradle.com. Cradle is spelled Craydel, Cradle.
Very good.
Yes.
We'll be back shortly. Keep it here.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Hi everyone. You may have heard about the official Study in Ireland fair happening next month on November 9th. Can you tell us what the students can expect?
TUS is currently offering a €1,000 Sub-Saharan Africa scholarship that is eligible to all our incoming students from the region. There is an additional €3,000 alumni scholarship for all students progressing to first year from our foundation program, giving you a total of €4,000 scholarship from first year till you graduate. 86.9% of our graduates are employed within 9 months of completing their degree. It's such an amazing time at TUS, and we look forward to welcoming you. Thank you.
That sounds fantastic. So everyone make sure to visit the official Study in Ireland fair at the Gallant Mall Parklands on November 9th. Make sure to register by visiting www.cradle.com or call 0799 000 444.
I know mko na talents, lakini mko na vibe. It's time to discover East Africa's newest talent. Ni muda wa Kenya kuchachisha. Anguka nayo kaa TikToker, utuonyeshe hizi stunts zako. Africa's biggest talent show, Bongo Star Search, is coming to Kenya. Stand a chance to win amazing prizes and work with the biggest names in entertainment. Majudges wakiongozwa na Rita, Master J, Salama Jabir, and our very own Sanaipe Itande watakuwa pale tukicheka na tukilia. Tulieni mpangwe wasee. From majenzi hadi wakoro, students na corporates, jitokeze tujue nani mzii. Tukutane Kenya National Theatre on Friday 29th and Saturday 30th November. Kosa uchekwe brother. BSS Season 15, sasa Beyond Borders. Si mchezo. Tune in to ST Swahili Channel 160 or 400 every Sunday at 9 p.m. and on Wednesday for an extra highlights show at 8:30 p.m. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
The weather with SpiceFM.
Sunny conditions in Nairobi this morning. We'll see highs of 24 and lows of 15 and lows of 15 with highs of 24. In a mostly cloudy Nakuru, it's 18 and sunny in Nyeri, highs of 24, and Eldoret, we'll see highs of 24 and lows of 14, currently at 17. Partly sunny at 29 in Mombasa with highs of 33, while Malindi will go to highs of 32, where it's currently sunny at 29. Kisumu at 23, sunny, highs of 30, and at 20, it's mostly sunny in Kakamega with highs of 29. Looking to a partly sunny Kampala at 20 with highs of 27, while Dar es Salaam is 27 and sunny, going to highs of 31. 19 and sunny in Johannesburg with highs of 30, and Mogadishu at 30 is sunny, going to highs of 32. Addis Ababa at 13 is sunny with highs of 22, while Lagos is sunny at 25. We'll see highs of 32 and highs of 32 in a cloudy Kinshasa at 23. Still pretty busy in the city this morning. We're still in traffic hour. Kiambu Road getting busier as we go, and also still seeing some traffic on Limuru Road. This whole area, Kitisuru, Thigiri Ridge out towards Peponi Road is very busy. The Red Hill Link Road coming in from Kitisuru is very busy. Crossing over Lower Kabete towards Spring Valley. And then onto Wayaki Way. There's an absolute mess on Wayaki Way this morning. Traffic is bumper to bumper. Folks trying to get onto the expressway, that's not happening. Getting out of the expressway, that's not happening either. So not fun, not for now at least. On James Gishoro, still very busy as well. Take a quick look at the Southern Bypass and you'll be all right. Langata Road is busy, but moving until you get to the junctions with Ngong Road. And then Aerodrome Road trying to connect with Uhuru Highway. Still very busy at this point. Yeah, I know folks on Mombasa Road, you're going to have to use the ICD route to get out towards Greater Mombasa Road, at least for now. Let's see what happens as we come out of traffic hour. Do talk to us. Trying to keep things moving this morning. We'll talk on SpiceFM, KE on X. # The Situation Room.
mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Continues with Her Honor, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, and Okoh, the country manager, IDLO, Liberia Country Office. City? I know you have questions. Question number 1. A.
From a moment, I thought you wanted to tell me something. The role of the judiciary in Liberia. It is the third arm of government, one of the three arms of government. How exactly does it play this role?
That is a very, very observant question. But I think what we should look at is the fact that although we are a branch, one of the branches of government, we are apolitical. I remember one of our judicial scholars put it this way, that the legislature is like the sun that comes up early and brightens the place by the laws that it promulgates. The executive is like the moon that shines at night to give light even in the darkness when crime are prevalent. And he said, but the judiciary is Joshua that tells the sun and the moon where to stop. And this is very, very true, say, in my mind. We have a role, but it is distinct, and indeed, we are there to interpret the laws that the legislature promulgate. We are there to bring some semblance of order in the executive, that, like in Liberia, that is the largest, employer in the country, and who also brings in, in fact, as head of government, the president as head of government is the one through whom all of these different programs and support comes from around the world. So the judiciary, again, the mystery of it all, we are there principally to focus on the rule of law, adherence to the rule of law, that those two political branches are doing what they are supposed to do. And if the people are not satisfied with either their policies or how they are dividing the wealth of the country, they come to the Joshua who can still the storm, utilizing the very laws or utilizing the very policies of both the legislative and executive branches of government. So our role is unique when it comes to adhering compliance with the rule of law, and as we say, no one is above the law. So people have a place to come to when the two political branches have seemingly overstepped their bounds or got outside of the confines of the law. That's where we come in.
What steps has the judiciary taken? I'm asking you now, as head of the judiciary, to ensure that the citizens of Liberia not only understand what your role is and that they support it.
Okay. Previously, it has been very difficult for the judiciary to play that crucial role or to be seen as a friend of the public, where they know coming there they will get not only justice, but they will have their rights really protected. And it is only recently that the present bench, but being bold to say under my watch, and especially coming up with notes that I've taken over the years, either as a practicing lawyer or as an associate justice for over 9 years. I utilize those notes, and I've come up with what I call rebranding the judiciary, because if we don't do this, if we don't let the people know what we are all about, we're going to be having this problem, and it is the people whom we expect to speak for us to the other two branches of government. So the rebranding process, we have taken a little a division there and have expanded its jurisdiction. They have been working assiduously to come up with notes and a program where, without compromising matters that are sub judice or still before the court, the public, the general public, they will be able to understand what the judiciary, particularly the courts, are all about. For example, we have started this work now, where as soon as the Supreme Court delivers opinions, it is placed on our website, the judiciary's website, right away. Secondly, we have two bodies at the judiciary. One is called the Judicial Inquiry Commission, that deals with complaints from the public against judges in general. Then we have the Grievance and Ethics Committee that deals with complaints against unethical behavior of lawyers. So over in the past, those two bodies were strictly with judges and lawyers. But from the past administration of retired Chief Justice Kokwa, we came and said, look, we have to utilize these organs for the public to also be aware what the judiciary is doing. So we have, in recent times, infused civil society into those two bodies and have taken a majority of those lawyers and judges. So you have a priest or an imam who, in both of those bodies as members. You can have maybe the president or so of the civil society organization there. So now, and we even have a nun, a Catholic nun, on the Judicial Inquiry Commission. And then the only thing is that it is chaired at different intervals by a justice of the Supreme Court. And we have the involvement of the National Bar Association, as well as the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia. So that is one way of getting the public to know what we are about. And even when you come to the printing of the opinions, yes, people might not be inclined to be interested in it, where it includes all of our legal terminology from English to Latin, etc. So we are now taking another step where we want to get this program going, where the director for publication will be on the radio, the government radio station, just saying what we are all about without, delving into matters, even if they have been determined or they are still before court, because nobody can explain the rulings of the court except the court. So we're hoping that will come about. We could not enforce this because, again, the financial aspect of where the judiciary stands with the other two branches, one that makes the budget law and is by law, authorized to make appropriations for the smooth running of the republic as the Constitution mandates, and the other who holds the purse, this case the the executive. But this was a new government, and with my administration being a new one, we were both at a loss because the previous administration had already passed the budget for 2024. So we are hoping that for the 2025 budget, the judiciary will be a full participant in sitting around the table and see how the what we will say in simple parlance, how the cake will be cut, instead of like in the previous times where there was this imposition of what the other two branches felt that the judiciary needed. In fact, just for your information, we had, she can bear me out, we took on this task with the previous government and now the new government, and there was this impasse where the Supreme Court said that, look, we will not go any further until you comply with the law, because there is a law called the Financial Autonomy Act of the Judiciary, where the Supreme Court is supposed to be the one submitting the budget estimates for the judiciary. But in the past, it was being prepared by the Ministry of Finance.
Wow.
Yes. And we were just left, and they would write us and say, look, this is your ceiling. And the Financial Autonomy Act says, no, when we submit those estimates of salaries, etc., you, Minister of Finance or Ministry of Finance, the arm of the executive there, you cannot revise it. If you have any concerns, you note it and put it in file it with the president, and you place it before the legislature, but you don't touch it. Nice. And that was the compliance we insisted on, and we said we weren't going to accept the 2024 budget because what we had prepared was this and not this, and we were not going to have that imposition. So they thought it was a joke, but again, I'm not like the mace, and I'm not teethless. So we've had a reckoning, and now we're supposed to go together now as three co-equal yet separate branches of government to decide on that revenue intake and how it ought to be divided based on our budget estimates.
So the rule of law stands out. So, Okoh, I mean, when you look at support for the judiciary, and clearly that the rule of law is the number one thing that would be upheld, how then does the support or buffering of the judiciary in Liberia, how does that play out?
I think something that development partners, where we come in, is that you are there to fill in gaps. That's the same thing I also say about civil society organizations. The government can't reach everywhere, but you also have a mandate to deliver on some services. So you're a partner with the government in meeting its mandate and delivering on certain programs and activities that they might have. Thinking about, making the judiciary more, should we say, approachable or understandable by the general public. I think there's a role to play in public awareness on what the rule of law is, what the judiciary is. The development world, we're very big on, the quote-unquote taglines of rights holders and duty bearers. And as common citizens, we're very good at saying the government should do this, the government should do this. But that is the government's job. But what is my responsibility as a citizen? So I can say that the government is there to protect my rights, but do I, A, understand what my rights are and what are my responsibilities in ensuring my rights, but also ensuring that I also uphold the rule of law. So I can cry and complain all day that the traffic cop on the street is corrupt. But, so if he stops me because I have a broken tail light, or I don't have my first aid kit, or I haven't updated my insurance or my registration, should I blame him for taking a bribe if, for me, the quickest thing is to give him a bribe? So have I fallen short of what is expected of me as well? So that's why I'm saying, what is my responsibility in upholding the rule? I can't be crying about corruption, but my actions continue to feed that. So at some point, where there's a lot of civic education that can be done about awareness of roles and responsibilities on both the government side and on the citizen side as well. There are, speaking to financial constraints and budgetary challenges, it's not something that's unique to Liberia, but to a lot of countries that many of us have operated in. There's the needs will always exceed the available resources. But where development partners come in is to work hand in hand with the government to see where what we have can be prioritized to make sure we're able to make the biggest difference with what we have, but then where can we piggyback on some initiatives as well, where the government is already working, where a development partner comes in with additional resources to support. Again, that will have the most impact. And, the little seed can grow something big and go farther as well.
It's a lot of work that you're doing. And I'm sure, looking at not just Liberia, but very many other countries that you're supporting, a lot of work to do. Thank you very much, ladies, for joining us today. It's a quick, short 1 hour, and we appreciate your presence here. We have had the presence of Her Honor Sigei Jape Yo. She is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, and Chinyalumugo Okoh. She's the Country Manager, IDLO Liberia Country Office. Talking about the role of the judiciary in post-conflict and in transition. It's 9 a.m. More conversations coming up in the next hour. Keep it here.
Good morning, this is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. An unidentified motorbike rider died in a tragic road accident early today in Narok County. According to a police report filed at the Narok police station, the motorcyclist lost control and collided head-on with the truck, dying on the spot. The truck driver was unharmed in the accident, and the deceased's body has been moved to Narok Level 5 Hospital mortuary for identification and post-mortem examination. As the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exams enters day 3, candidates will today be sitting for Chemistry Paper 2 this morning and English Paper 3 later in the afternoon. 10 people have so far been arrested of allegations of engaging in examination malpractices across the country. 8 teachers from Homa Bay County were arrested after they were found photocopying a paper contrary to set regulations governing national examinations, while 2 other suspects from Nairobi and Kilifi counties were arrested for impersonation. NEC CEO Devin Jagere said that the crackdown for exam cheaters is ongoing.
And thanks to the MAT agency team, the 2 culprits were apprehended, one in Nairobi and another one in Kilifi. So we are vigilant across the country. So anyone who is planning to engage in any malpractice, they can rest assured that we are going to move in and apprehend them.
Homa Bay Police Commander Emmanuel Kiplangat said the teachers and all others responsible will be held accountable.
It was done in the school, not by the center manager, but by some POG teachers. It will be a case to be answered by many, and I think that's a scheme or a syndicate.
And parents are being urged to keep their children off institutions that offer radical teachings during this long holidays. National Parents Association Chairman in Trans Nzoia County, Wellington Waliaula, has urged parents to instead guide their children so that they don't fall into traps of drug use or drug abuse, pregnancy, as well as early marriages.
Shule zimefungwa, wako nyumbani takriban miezi miwili. Tunaelekea hata msimu wa Krismasi na mambo mengi. Tunataka kuuliza wazazi waangalie watoto wao. Hatutaki kusikia visanga ambavyo pengine watoto watakuwa wameingia katika mambo ya disco matanga, mambo ya mihadarati, burudani ambazo hastahili watoto kuingia. Kwa hivyo nataka kuuliza wazazi kwamba walinde watoto wenu, na mjue ya kwamba next year hatuna form 1. Tunatarajia watoto wote warudi kwa shule kiwango kile ambacho wamekuwa shuleni. Na vile makanisa siku hizi haziko sawa sana. Kuna wengine itaanza kufunza watoto mambo ya itikadi kali. Hata nyinyi wazazi muangalie watoto wanaenda kwa kanisa gani.
Walaula has expressed his disappointment with the decision to close school early due to lack of resources to finance academic activities.
Nataka kuuliza Wizara ya Elimu. Tumekuwa na shida sana kama wazazi na hasa walimu katika shule zetu. Disbursement ya capitation hazija kuwa zikireflect vizuri, kwa sababu hakukuwa na pesa katika account. Sisi kama wazazi tunaona kwamba tumeibiwa wiki moja ambayo ilikuwa watoto wanatakana wawe wanafanya tena masomo kwa sababu ya pesa. Tunataka kuuliza Wizara ya Elimu, hasa Waziri wa Elimu Bwana Migosi, kwamba afanye jitihada sana shule zitakapofunguliwa walimu wapate pesa katika account. Tunataka mwaka ujao tusiwe na mambo ya shida na malipo ya capitation kutoka kwa serikali kwenda kwa shule zetu.
And moving on from martyrs' education to the corridors of justice, 12 suspects linked to a fake gold scam syndicate will be arraigned today to face charges of fraud. They were arrested in a crackdown by detectives from the Operation Support Unit in Nairobi's Runda estate. During the operation, investigators seized key evidence including counterfeit gold, spray paint and padlocks used to create the fake gold. The arrests followed a scam in which 2 foreign nationals were duped into purchasing 35 kilograms of fake gold, losing over 5 million in the process. And in the international scene, as results continue to trickle in during the ongoing vote count in the US elections, it has placed former President Donald Trump in the lead with 230 electoral college votes per the Associated Press, having garnered 51% of the votes counted. Kamala Harris has followed closely with 210 votes as both candidates race to garner the 270 votes required to take the White House. That's the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
When you're impeached, you're impeached. When you're sentenced, you're sentenced.
Madam Chief Justice.
Until the sentence is set aside. Ukibeba vitu kwa roho utakufa. If you carry things in your heart, you will die.
The reason for which you went to school and then gathered experience, that reason must be paid for.
All right.
Oh, okay.
This level.
Shape up or ship out.
Levels don't change.
No. Since about shipping out. You know my business partner here.
Shipping out.
Are we talking about the ship in the bathtub? Or
the ship man?
Emmanuel Talamu used to tell us a story of they were in school and they'd been told to write composition about a ship. His classmate raises a hand. Teacher, are you talking about a ship or a ship goat?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Patrick Lodge, Otieno Lumumba. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
CT Muga.
Opposite. Ukisikiliza na play, unasikia? Opposite.
The Situation Room, Spice. The only way to start your day. Spice FM, Nakuru.
Okay, so a few minutes after 9 o'clock, let's take a look at what traffic still looks like. Reducing significantly on the Eastern Bypass. Just a little bit of that left on Jogoo Road heading out towards the city. And then also on Jogoo Road. Uhuru Highway now will take on most of it right about now. And still some traffic on the Thika Superhighway just past Survey as well as on Kiambu Road. Also on the Thika Superhighway from Garden City out towards that Outer Ring Junction, there is some inbound traffic and it continues for now. All right, let's see what happens as we come out of traffic hour, how that will reduce. And we'll talk on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have CT Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Yes.
What's happening? What's happening?
Well,
how are the results? How are we doing? How are we doing across the country?
How are you doing?
Are they shocked?
Well, it looks like the road to 270 is almost more or less certain. It's just from what we're looking at now, 246 to 187 in favor of Donald Trump. There are still a number of states to be completed in terms of counting, but it does look like it's already sealed from what we are looking at now. And indeed, the New York Times, which is usually one of the go-to organizations during the American election, has kind of called it. So it's just to watch and see what will be announced in the next few hours, but that's what it looks like.
It looks like it,
some states still looking to be called, like I said, but some of the significant ones have already gone. And if Harris has gotten the 54 votes that she was looking for from California and still puts her at less than 200, then you can pretty much more or less call it at this point. California having the largest number of electoral votes
this
of all the states.
This cliffhanger situation we find ourselves in. I mean, what is it that they wait to see before they call it?
I want to get the last man standing.
Because like now, for instance, okay, what is this thing that is likely to happen that might change it?
What is actually happening now is basically just media houses projecting and calling, right? The final thing is not even anywhere close. It has already to go to the Senate, and then the Senate has got to actually confirm this whole vote. But the major mainstream media houses, like what you're saying, New York Times is saying, all right, this is looking likely to go the Trump way. CNN is saying the race to 270. It's too early to call the other battleground states of Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada, which are seen as pivotal to each candidate's path to victory. Trump and Harris each need at least 270 electoral votes to win the presidency. Trump is retaking the battleground Georgia, which he narrowly lost in 2020. He'll also win North Carolina, shrinking Kamala Harris's possible path to victory. Vote counting continues in some key states. Polls are closed in Alaska. They're projecting that Harris is going to take New Mexico. U.S. officials are still investigating sources of bomb threats at some polling stations. So this thing is still going on. But as it's looking, 246 is much closer to 270 than 180 is, right? So, 187 for Harris so far. So, Ndu,
yes.
Well, if you want to live joyfully in Kenya, watch out, those ones, let them do their thing. If you want to live joyfully in Kenya, what do you need to think about?
You need to think about banking with Kenya's number one private bank, that's Standard Bank. How can you live joyfully? There's so many things that you can get as a result of this. Imagine a 24/7 concierge service. That is somebody who's able to meet your needs 24/7, and you don't have to worry about whether,
concierge service.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like your personal assistant, Abby. Right? You can think about the MasterCard Golf experience. You can think about, getting involved with your travel will be taken care of, that when you can go onto the many classed lounges, doesn't matter where you travel. This is what it is, living joyfully. Just because you are a member of this bank and that you take care of all your banking needs, etc., you can actually be part of this without a problem whatsoever.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Kabisa.
So Standard Bank says, you know what? You can bank easily like we looked at yesterday, and you can also live joyfully like we're looking at today.
Very good. And it's important to always consider and think about such kind of things. Let's also talk about pension, right? So you are thinking of pension, or maybe you're not, but the government is forcing you to think. Well, you should think about it yourself as well. Now, the NSSF Act says that there's two levels of contributions. There's Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 goes to NSSF. Tier 2, you can go to NSSF, or you can choose to take it elsewhere. The elsewhere is what we want to talk about. It's called the Taifa Pension Fund. Taifa Pension Fund is managed by the largest fund manager, which is CPF Financial Services. And these guys have experience. There is a lot of benefit that you get as an employee. So, for example, it has all these benefits like medical at retirement, income at retirement. There's some insurance at retirement. All these things are important for you. We'd like you to get more information, but not just from us. Go to them. taifapensionfund.com. That's taifapensionfund.com. So in the news this morning, we've heard a lot of things. So, for example, one of the things that one of the news items that Leo Baga has read and has even played some audio clips is with regards to the transition to grade 9 next year. So the grade 7s entered grade 7 last year. They said, they didn't have teachers for an entire term. Then some intern teachers were hired. Some intern teachers were hired. These are English teachers who were told, go and teach these guys biology. So they went anyway. They did the biology thing they could do. Those 7s have gone to 8. Those grade 8s, now they are grade 8 and the 6s have become 7s. The same teachers are teaching the same grade 6 and 7. Those same 7s of last year who are still continuing to suffer this year with grade 8 will enter into more sufferation next year when they transition to grade 9. Do we have classrooms? We are constructing them.
Okay.
This is because junior school is domiciled in the previous primary schools, which are now called comprehensive schools, which of course ended up to standard 8. They're introducing a new class, calling it 9.
Yep.
Call it class or grade, it's 9. Do we have classrooms for the 9s? We've never had classrooms for the 9s. Have we been building them? Apparently we have. But no. In this last few days, toward the end of the year, we are putting all efforts to finish everything. Classrooms.
We're putting all effort to ensure.
To ensure that we finish.
I don't know about that we finish has come after that ensure, but just know that all effort is being put into ensure.
Yes.
Just be happy.
Yeah. Because next year those kids need to get into new classroom and they need to have desks.
And do you know how many classrooms are needed?
Yeah.
16,000
across the country.
Yes, please.
In all public schools.
Yes, please.
All right. Very good. Do we have those ready? So this is among the very many other things that are happening in our education sector, right? We are seeing KCSEs going on now. Are you transitioning from KCSE and then you go into post-secondary education? Are you sorted in terms of funding for post-secondary education? Do you know whether you shall be qualified to get a proper scholarship in the university funding model? That is all those questions up in the air. It's actually a crisis in the education sector. And that's why we've invited Alan Cheboy, who is a data and technology expert, currently working with a campaign called the ZKE campaign, which you'll tell us more about. Karibu sana, Alan.
Hi, how are you? Doing well. Doing well.
The last time you were here, we were still talking about information and data.
Yeah.
And it was about what? Misinformation,
disinformation,
counter information, and all those things. Now you're here with, again, information and using data to just look at what the country is saying.
Exactly.
And that's why you'll be telling us about what the people are saying about education and the education sector. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Now, you've heard of Tala, right? Let me tell you. No, let Siti tell you. Siti,
yes.
Please tell Alan about Tala.
Well, Tala is a partner. What sort of partner? Tala is a financial partner. And it's a financial partner whom you can reach by simply downloading the app. When you download the app, you then enter an interesting realm of opportunities. One, you are in a position to take care of emergencies, those things which pop up and require you to spend money which you don't have. It also enables you to plan for your financial needs. Now, Tala says this. You see, unlike fintechs that one hears of, these fly-by-night fintechs, who, should you make the mistake of not paying their money on time, will tell your entire phone book that you owe them money. No, they do not. Why? They are regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya and they're registered with the Data Commission. They were among a group of fintechs that actually fought and sought that registration and that oversight by the Central Bank. Now, again, as I said, it's just a download away. Those things that shock you at a time when you really don't want to be shocked. Something has happened, it needs money, you don't have it. Tala comes to your aid. Thank you.
Kabisa. Now, please welcome him with today's proverb. This week, where are we?
We are in DRC. DRC stands for the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay? Maize grows for those who do not have teeth.
Maize grows for those who do not have teeth. Interesting. Yeah, so for me, I think the proverb basically means opportunities most of the time will come to people who might not immediately see how to use that opportunity. And specifically, if you think about how maize grows, right? For you to consume maize, you need actually teeth that are hard enough to chew the maize. But sometimes you really want to think about opportunities might be presented to you. You don't have the capability or capacity to use it immediately, but it doesn't also mean you can't use that opportunity, because at the end of the day, this person who doesn't have teeth can sell the maize, right? And gain some value out of it. So that means if you have an opportunity, there's also other ways you can use that particular opportunity to benefit yourself, right? So I think that's primarily what that particular proverb means. Yeah.
Ndu said you can even grind the maize
Exactly.
and make porridge.
Yeah. And make porridge, exactly. Yeah.
Kunywe. Ama ugali. Kule ugali. Don't just look at the maize. Look at maize as opportunity.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a very nice one. So the ZKE campaign, and last week here we hosted two people, Kothopondo and Nerima Wako. We're talking about it and what the conversations are around the youth. Last week was the issue of bribery and people's experience with bribery. And during that conversation, we had then a bit of more information coming out of stories from Ndu and Nerima on what they've heard about bribery in school. That people are actually not even, they don't consider it bribery, they just consider it, just tipping a teacher so that then the teacher looks at your child favorably and starts giving them, extra lessons.
Preferences.
And the child starts performing a bit better. That's not bribing the teacher, it's just tipping.
Support.
Just tipping the teacher. And if you don't tip the teacher, then
you will be tipped.
Yeah, then your child tips.
Your child will tip the scales.
Yes. And from that, the ZKE campaign then posted that, and there's been a lot of reaction and feedback around it. And people then going on to say, this is actually not just a small issue about teacher tipping the teacher. It exposes a lot more issues. But first of all, the ZKE campaign, what's it about?
So the ZKE campaign, if you think about how we've seen what has happened over the last few months in Kenya and the Gen Z protests and them expressing themselves in ways that, they want to be heard very, very well. So one of the key things we started thinking about is, when you talk about public participation, all these processes are very analog and it uses a lot of resources or techniques that collect information from the well-known people who are interested in politics. Not everyone is represented in these conversations. So the ZKE campaign is something that basically integrates the voice of the youth specifically, but also other underrepresented communities within Kenya in a way that we collect information from where the youth are. And where are the youth? In social media. Some of them are watching, for example, this live broadcast, and they would want to go to the comment section and express themselves about an issue. Some of them want to use WhatsApp instead of, having to go to, I don't know which boardroom or which particular spaces for you to start writing, hundreds of forms that are being presented. People want to be met where they are. And the ZKE campaign is basically, basically we are trying to determine how can we use something called deliberative technologies to collect those views and opinions about issues that the youth and especially other Kenyans are really thinking about, and it's close to their hearts. And we did that, and the issue about bribery, a lot of people presented what they really think. They presented how they've experienced bribery in one form or another. We did a lot of the analysis, and we were able to say, okay, so this is how bribery shows itself when it comes to the conversations about bribery in Kenya. Same thing, we then went back to the audience and we asked them, so what else would you like to discuss? And exactly what Eric just mentioned in terms of education, that is one of the key priorities currently in this country. So that is actually data, that actually is informed by data from opinions and thoughts collected by hundreds of Kenyans.
That's quite a bit. And the issues that I imagine, if you just think about education, we keep talking about it here all the time. Ndu just wakes up every morning and she hears education. She flips, right? And
it's whether we're talking about early childhood education, whether it's a junior, the lower years in primary school, the transition from 6 to 7, just the sitting of an exam, and you call it CAPSEA, and how it's moderated, going into junior school, grade 7, 8, and now moving into this 9, in secondary school, and how the secondary schools are managed, and payment of school fees and funding, and there are very many things that just become something. And what you've been saying, that there's a crisis in the education sector, seems to be what's coming out as well from the public.
Yeah. So we've talked about some of the brick and mortar things that we can see, right? We know. I mean, if you want to start at the ministry level, where there's, capitation nightmare, where they want to talk about infrastructure that should be handled from the ministry level, that doesn't happen, the taking care of teachers, etc. But then it's interesting to me now that it's not just the complaint that comes from what you can see in terms of hard infrastructure, but that people for whom this education is delivered are now saying, you know what, we can see it too, we can feel it. I'm not getting, for my child, for example, what I should. I'm asked to pay a little extra so that my child can be paid attention to. What are some of these things that are coming now from it's not the things we're complaining about anymore only, but it's now combined and compounded. What are those?
So from what we've collected in relation to education crisis, one of the key things, and I'll just look at some of the claims that we were able to collect, and we collected these views from TikTok, from Instagram, from Facebook, from the YouTube broadcast that was done last week. The motivation bit is one of the key things that people highlighted. So motivating, so you're paying school fees as a parent, you're going to, your children are going to school, but you still have to go into your pocket and give an extra thing for your child to actually be prioritized in that particular school. So that's one of the key things that emerged. So many people express saying, I've actually been part of this. Some of them saying that the reason I actually decided to take my kid to these international schools is because of that. You'd rather pay high in terms of fees than, having to pay, and then you still have to go into your pocket to collect that particular, to share that. The other thing is specifically about financial incentives, which currently are necessary for quality education. So that's one thing that was also raised. Parental involvement in terms of effective education. So many people express that schools are not involving them in decision making. So like, for example, you will see school fees has been hiked from I don't know which particular cost to this particular level of cost. So those are some of the issues that came up a lot. And of course, when you're talking about universities, and especially the loans and the scholarships, the help loans, that became a very huge issue. Access to education is becoming more expensive every day.